Chapter 262. Hearing Xiao Maxian's words, a cold sweat dripped down everyone's foreheads. The saintess of the demonic celestial cult really dared to say anything. However, Xiao Maxian's personality was like that. Although she looked pure and pretty, she had a kind of charm. She didn't have any scruples when driving. It could be said that she was completely different from Jiang Luoli. Jiang Luoli didn't know what she meant by good posture. However, combined with Xiao Maxian's charming and innocent face, she knew that it was definitely not something serious. She spat and said, "You witch, what are you saying to harass Big Brother Xiaoyao? Jiang Luoli, are you deliberately pretending not to understand?" Xiao Maxian laughed unscrupulously. "You humph, don't you dare do anything to Big Brother Xiaoyao." Jiang Luoli was angry and her cheeks were red. Some of Xiao Maxian's special knowledge was a blank to her. She didn't understand at all. "No way, no way. You're obviously so close to Big Brother Xiaoyao. Don't tell me that you really haven't done anything with Big Brother Xiaoyao?" Xiao Maxian pretended to be surprised and said sarcastically. "You." Even if Jiang Luoli didn't understand this, she still understood what she meant when she heard this sentence. Her face was as red as an apple, but she couldn't say a word. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. This little witch was even better at driving than him. However, looking at Xiao Maxian's body, she was about the same as Jiang Luoli. "Sorry, I'm not interested." Jun Xiaoyao continued to lead Jiang Luoli and the others up the mountain. "Big Brother Xiaoyao, I know you have the sacred body of the ancients and are full of energy. Jiang Luoli alone can't satisfy you. I can also serve you well," Xiao Maxian said unscrupulously, trying to seduce Jun Xiaoyao with her words. Even Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. He admitted that he had the sacred body of the ancients and the divine treasure of the kidney was exceptionally strong. But was he that kind of person? "Is that so? Is that so?" Jun Xiaoyao ignored him. As Xiao Maxian saw their backs gradually climb up, she stomped her feet in anger. "Rather than relying on unorthodox methods, I might as well rely on myself." Ji Qingyi's gaze was calm as she continued to climb. "That's right, big sister White Lotus, you're the purest," Xiao Maxian mocked. Ji Qingyi shook her head and ignored him. She was well aware of her opponent's personality, so she didn't argue. Forget Chuan found it hard to remain calm. Jun Xiaoyao's performance had refreshed his understanding of evildoers. It could be said that if Jun Xiaoyao had lived in his era, he would have been the most dazzling heaven's favorite. However, Wang Chuan was still an ancient freak of the Samsara demon sect. His temperament was far from Li Daoxuan's. Soon, he adjusted his state of mind and began to climb silently. For the time being, the heroic spirit altar remained calm. Now, there were very few people who could persevere on the altar. These heaven's favorites either died in madness or were stuck in place, unable to take a single step forward. Jun Xiaoyao was still in the lead. Not only that, but he also brought along Jiang Luoli, Yu, and Yan Qingying. This was equivalent to Jun Xiaoyao withstanding the pressure of 4 people. Behind him were Ji Qingyi, Forget Chuan, Xiao Maxian, and the others. Finally, there were a few scattered heaven's favorites who were still persevering. And the higher they went, the stronger the pressure became. Of course, the faint Tao rhythm also became thicker and thicker. Finally, when they reached the 800th step, Yan Qingying was the first to speak. "Young master, Qingying should stop here." Yan Qingying's originally fair face was now even paler. It was clear that she had reached her limit. Although Yan Qingying was the successor of the god-swallowing demon art and had swallowed the essence of the immortal region's elites, she was still a heaven's favorite from the lower realms. She had only grown for a short period of time, and her foundation was lacking. In fact, if she relied on her own strength, it would already be very good if she could reach the 600th step. Now, she could only reach the 800th step because of Jun Xiaoyao's protection. "All right then. Cultivate well here." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly and did not force her. Going too far was as bad as falling short. If he forced Yan Qingying to continue climbing, it would not be good for her cultivation. Yan Qingying nodded. She took out the darkness immortal seed and began to refine and comprehend it. She was confident that she could break through on the hero spirit altar. Then, when they reached the 950th step, Jiang Luoli and Yu also stopped. They could no longer advance. Jun Xiaoyao also did not force them and began to climb alone. After reaching the 950th step and above, with each step, the pressure would almost double. Not only that, but the ancient heroic spirits manifested in the void also began to attack. A fire bird spirit opened its mouth and spat out scarlet flames. There was also a creature that looked like a centipede that charged over from the void. An ancient hero spirit threw the sky-piercing divine spear at Jun Xiaoyao. These hero spirits were all living beings that had died on the hero spirit altar. They were jealous of Jun Xiaoyao and stopped him from continuing to climb up. Jun Xiaoyao sent them flying with a palm strike. The golden palm print swept through everything. All the hero spirits collapsed in front of him. Ji Qingyi and Xiao Maxian also stopped at the 95th step in the end. On the other hand, the river of forgetfulness continued to climb. The small 6 paths of reincarnation disk behind him was spinning. The power of his reincarnation sacred constitution was also pushed to the extreme. He was unwilling. As an ancient freak, he did not want to be defeated like this and be defeated by the current generation's prodigies. However, the closer he got to the last few dozen steps, the more terrifying the pressure was. At this step, even the ancient freak, the river of forgetfulness, could only move up step by step. In the end, the river of forgetfulness stopped at the 970th step and could not take another step. To be honest, this performance was already very good. Since ancient times, less than 1% of the prodigies that entered the crack of the 10 realms could reach the 800th step and above. Less than 1 in 1,000 could reach the 900th step. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao, who was still moving forward, the river of forgetfulness finally lowered his head. He had lost to Jun Xiaoyao again. Be it in terms of strength, will, or talent, he was nowhere near as good as Jun Xiaoyao. Even if he recovered to his peak state, he would not be able to change this fact. Is he going to reach the top of the hero's spirit altar? The river of forgetfulness's eyes were trembling. The top of the hero spirit altar was a forbidden area that almost no one could set foot on. And he knew one thing. If he wanted to open up his own path, he had to reach the top of the altar. This was because only at the top of the hero spirit altar could Jun Xiaoyao receive all the blessings of the lower realms. In addition, with the help of the 10 realms origin, perhaps only then could Jun Xiaoyao have a slight chance of opening up a path that no one had taken before. Jun Xiaoyao is actually so ambitious. The river of forgetfulness took a deep breath. He found it hard to imagine that Jun Xiaoyao, who was already a monstrously talented and powerful, would be so ambitious. If he could open up his own path, how bright would his future be? Even becoming an emperor would not be the end of Jun Xiaoyao's journey. Chapter 263. After the 950th step of the martyr's altar, every step felt more difficult than the previous 950th step combined. Even the ancient freak Wang Chuan could only regretfully stop at the 970th step. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, did not stop moving. The more Jun Xiaoyao was forgotten, the more pressure he felt. All sorts of heroic spirits were manifested as well, intending to stop him. It could be said that since ancient times, not many people had been able to overcome such a difficult obstacle because it was too difficult. Even the ancient freaks could only admit defeat in front of such a difficult obstacle. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold and his face was calm. The pressure of the martyr's altar didn't pose much of a problem to him. However, some of the heroic spirits wanted to kill his sacred palace true spirit and seize his physical body. Then again, it did make sense. If Jun Xiaoyao were one of the heroic spirits imprisoned there, there was a high chance that he would want to possess such a perfect physical body. Jun Xiaoyao's counterattack was very simple in the face of those heroic spirits' attempts to seize his body. He directly refined the chaotic divine grindstone. The terrifying chaotic divine grindstone crushed the heavens. This was a supreme soul attack, and it was extremely lethal to the heroic spirits. No matter how powerful those ancient heroic spirits were, they could only crumble into nothingness under the crushing pressure of Jun Xiaoyao's chaotic divine grindstone. Eventually, Jun Xiaoyao stepped onto the 999th floor, one step at a time. When he took a step forward and stepped onto the last floor, there was a loud bang. The entire altar of heroes began to tremble. Countless heroic spirit phantoms appeared in the surrounding void. Their numbers were like a swarm of locusts. It could be said that even the ancient freak Wang Chuan could be instantly killed in the face of such a terrifying attack from the heroic spirits. This was not giving Jun Xiaoyao any chance of survival at all. They wanted to completely cut off his path of advancement. Big Brother Xiaoyao, Jiang Luoli and the others below were extremely nervous when they saw this. They were confident in Jun Xiaoyao. However, the overwhelming number of heroic spirits was no longer something that the sky prides of the younger generation could handle. Every single one of the heroic spirits had once been a peerless genius, a transcendent being. As far as the eye could see, there were over 10,000 heroic spirits appearing at the same time. Who in the younger generation could defend against the attacks of more than 10,000 heaven's favorites? It's too terrifying. No one has been able to pass through this stage. Wang Chuan shook her head slightly when she saw this scene. To be honest, he had a trace of admiration for Jun Xiaoyao. If he didn't die, Jun Xiaoyao would probably be the most brilliant genius of this era. Little big brother Xiaoyao is in trouble now. What a pity I haven't been able to test his strength yet. Xiao Maxian shook her head, a look of pity on her face. In her opinion, it would be very difficult for Jun Xiaoyao to survive this tribulation. Ji Qingyi glanced at it and tried to figure it out. However, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to always create miracles. The secret treasure of Yuantian was like that, and so was the Heaven Dao Tower. Therefore, before the results were confirmed, any guesses could be overturned. Faced with over 10,000 heroic spirits, ordinary sky prides would probably wet their pants in fear. However, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. He stomped his foot, and the phantom of 10,000 saints appeared in the void around him. It was one of the sacred body of the ancients' sacred body phenomenon, the reverence of 10,000 saints. Once the phenomenon appeared, it suppressed the world. A series of explosions sounded in the void. Many heroic spirits exploded under the pressure of this terrifying phenomenon. Even so, there were still many heroic spirits left. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to use his ultimate move again, the sachet on his body suddenly appeared. This? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with surprise. This sachet was the token that led him into the crack of the 10 realms. Jun Xiaoyao had previously guessed that this should be a token left behind by an ancient heaven's favorite. However, at this moment the sachet underwent a change. A special aura appeared. A beautiful silhouette materialized in the air and stood in front of Jun Xiaoyao, shielding him. When he saw this beautiful figure, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes trembled slightly. It wasn't because of how shocked he was by this beautiful figure. It was because he had seen this figure before. This beautiful figure was a woman wearing a ghost mask on her face. Her jade body was slim and slender, and her black hair fluttered in the wind. Her skin and bones were smooth, and she was as pretty as snow. This beautiful figure was very similar to the ghost mask girl that Jun Xiaoyao faced on the 49th floor of the Heaven Dao Tower. However, compared to the ghost mask girl in the Heaven Dao Tower, this woman in front of him had a slender jade body, as if she had grown up a little and was beginning to show a peerless aura. Her again? Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly. Why did the ghost mask girl leave footprints in the Heaven Dao Tower and the altar of heroic spirit? The red spider lily blooms in the seven-colored sky, and the flower falls to become an immortal for 1,000 years. Brother, I have waited for you in the mortal world for 1,000 years, and where are you? The ghost mask girl seemed to be murmuring, and her eyes under the mask fell on Jun Xiaoyao. Strangely, when the ghost mask girl's shadow appeared, the heroic spirits around the altar all showed great fear and moved away, avoiding the ghost mask girl as if she was a snake or a scorpion. The scene fell into a strange silence for a moment. Even Wang Chuan and the others were a little stunned. What was going on? Logically speaking, there was no chance of a comeback in this kind of predicament. However, Jun Xiaoyao had opened up a glimmer of hope. If Li Daoxian was still alive and saw this scene, he would definitely roar in anger. What was the protagonist of Heaven and Earth, the Son of Fate? This was the protagonist of Heaven and Earth, the Son of Fate. In comparison, these heaven-defying sons of the lower domain were nothing. They could not be compared to Jun Xiaoyao at all. Jun Xiaoyao himself was also a little surprised. He did not expect his luck to be so good. It was obvious that the sachet belonged to the ghost masked girl. The ghoul-masked woman looked at Jun Xiaoyao and rushed to him all of a sudden. She lifted her hand, intending to touch Jun Xiaoyao's cheek. However, she was a shadow, so she directly went through Jun Xiaoyao's face. Jun Xiaoyao's face was calm, and he was not affected by the ghost masked girl's actions. He knew that this ghost-masked woman must have mistaken him for her brother. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao was also puzzled. How could the ghost-masked girl's brother be as handsome as him? The ghost-masked girl let out a sigh, then turned around and looked at the remaining heroic spirit. She exuded a terrifying aura and waved her hand. Endless red spider lilies bloomed in the void. The scarlet red spider lilies bloomed all over the sky. This scene was very beautiful, but at the same time very strange. The heroic spirits' faces were all twisted, and they let out sharp screams as they turned into ashes in the red spider lilies. The ghost masked girl waved her hand and cleared the way for Jun Xiaoyao. All the heroic spirits were killed, and none of them survived. Even Jun Xiaoyao was a little speechless. Was this ghost masked girl willing to be used by him as a tool? Jun Xiaoyao did not even have to move a finger, and the ghost masked girl cleared all obstacles for him. Are you still looking for the sacred body of the ancients? Check-in for free? Baidu directly searched. Easy, it was very simple. Chapter 264. After clearing away all obstacles, the ghoul-masked woman looked back and gave Jun Xiaoyao a deep look. The look in her eyes was very complicated. There was affection, longing, and some faint doubt. Perhaps the ghoul-masked woman herself did not know whether she was lying to herself or not. Then, the ghoul-masked woman's figure faded into the void and disappeared. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. He was happy to see it happen. Now, all obstacles had been cleared away. Jun Xiaoyao safely stepped onto the top of the altar of heroes. Since ancient times, very few people had been able to set foot on the place where he stood. Jun Xiaoyao suspected that the ghoul-masked woman might have stepped onto it. Otherwise, the other heroic spirits would not have been so afraid. However, stepping onto the top did not mean that one would be able to open up their own path. It was an almost impossible path. If it could be opened up so easily, the altar of heroes would not be filled with corpses and bones. Jun Xiaoyao looked around. There was only a simple stone platform at the top of the altar. There was also a scroll on the stone platform. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. He had a guess. He went forward and picked up the scroll. After a brief inspection, his eyes flashed with joy. It was just as he had expected. The scroll was the second volume of the physical scripture. The 9 great heavenly scriptures were rare treasures. It was rumored that they contained the secret to becoming an immortal. Every heavenly scripture was the pinnacle of a path. The physical scripture was the pinnacle of the path of the physical body. Now Jun Xiaoyao had the complete physical scripture and his own sacred body of the ancient. Perhaps in the future, Jun Xiaoyao would be able to defeat great emperors and suppress ancient emperors with just his physical body without using magic power. It was not a fantasy. Jun Xiaoyao only glanced at the second volume of the physical scripture. He did not look at it in detail. That was because it was not the time yet. He had not even completed the first volume of the immortal Daluo celestial body. If he were to comprehend the second volume of the physical scripture now, it would be too hasty. The most important thing for him now was to transform his strength and open up his own path. Jun Xiaoyao stored the second volume of the body scripture into his spatial magic tool. Then, he sat cross-legged on the stone platform. Suddenly, countless runes in the surroundings released light, and the entire martyr's altar seemed to have been activated. Rumble! Heaven and earth shook and the universe trembled. Boundless spiritual energy gathered at the top of the martyr's altar. At the same time, waves of golden power of fortune that were visible to the naked eye continued to converge on Jun Xiaoyao. The martyr's altar could be seen as an auxiliary platform. However, what they really relied on was the talent, cultivation, and ability of the chosen ones themselves. Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting cross-legged at the top of the altar, had undoubtedly benefited the most. He alone received more than 80% of the spiritual qi of heaven and earth and the power of providence. The rest of the sky prides shared the remaining 20%. Wang Chuan, Jiang Luoli, Yu, and the others also hurriedly held their breaths and began to immerse themselves in cultivation. This was a rare opportunity, and all of the chosen ones treated it with caution. Sitting cross-legged on the stone platform, Jun Xiaoyao's body was being washed by endless spiritual energy. The granules of the giant elephant instantly transformed into dragon elephant granules. Jun Xiaoyao also grasped this opportunity. The remaining 30,000 granules of the giant elephant also completely transformed into dragon elephant granules. Rumble! In Jun Xiaoyao's body, the 100,000 granules of the giant elephant were transformed into dragon elephant granules. His strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth had also made great progress. Jun Xiaoyao's entire body emitted a holy light. He couldn't help but raise his hand, and divine light gathered. It was originally supposed to transform into the underworld deity spear. But now, a golden spear filled with radiance and a holy aura appeared. The heavenly deity spear, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. The underworld deity spear before, with monstrous hellfire and the aura of hell. But now, with the breakthrough of his strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth, the underworld deity spear had transformed into the heavenly deity spear. Not only was its power several times stronger, but it also emitted a holy aura that suppressed the devils of hell. That wasn't all. The defensive technique of the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth, the underworld deity Aegis, had also undergone a transformation. The underworld deity Aegis had transformed into a white cloak with golden edges. The cloak was embroidered with images of gods, as if the legion of gods were chanting and emitting holy light. This cloak was called the God Legion Cloak, and was the defensive technique of the underworld deity Aegis. The defensive power of the God Legion Cloak was much higher than that of the underworld deity Aegis. The transformation wasn't over yet. The fiend devil wings of the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth had washed away the devilish miasma of hell and transformed into snow-white wings of freedom. The wings of freedom represented the will of great freedom. With a pair of wings, Xiaoyao could roam the 9 heavens and 10 earths freely. The hellfire crucible had also transformed into the heaven and earth furnace, and its power of suppression and refinement had both been qualitatively enhanced. Other things aside, the transformation of the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth alone was enough to make Jun Xiaoyao much stronger. The strongest spear, the heavenly deity spear. The strongest shield, the God Legion Cloak. The strongest speed, the wings of freedom. The strongest refinement, the heaven and earth furnace. As for the 100,000 Dracomammoth particles, they gave Jun Xiaoyao a terrifying 10 billion kilograms of God force. This was beyond the imagination of humans. It was so monstrous that it shocked everyone. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes glowed with joy. After the Dracomammoth particles came the protomammoth particles. However, the protomammoth particles didn't increase the power of the fleshly body. That was because 10 billion kilograms of God Force was already the limit of this stage. Unless Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation base transformed and his life force increased, he couldn't increase his fleshly body strength without limit. The protomammoth particles increased the power of the soul. Every time 10,000 Dracomammoth particles transformed into 10,000 protomammoth particles, Jun Xiaoyao's soul power would increase by 1-fold. If all 10,000 Dracomammoth particles transformed into protomammoth particles, how powerful would Jun Xiaoyao's soul power be? Even Jun Xiaoyao couldn't imagine it. Furthermore, when the protomammoth particles transformed, the strength of the hell-crushing godmammoth would unlock another ability. Summon the gates of hell. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao would be able to summon thousands of Asuras with a wave of his hand and sweep through everything. Since the strength of the hell-crushing godmammoth is at the initial stage, why don't I transform the origin immortal bones as well? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He took out many immortal sources and star cores and began to refine the origin immortal bones. Before fully comprehending the Tao and opening his path, Jun Xiaoyao wanted to adjust his condition and strength to the peak. That way, he would have a greater chance of success. Jun Xiaoyao summoned the Heaven and Earth Furnace. Heaven and Earth were the furnace, creation was the worker, yin and yang were the charcoal, and all things were the copper. A crimson furnace appeared in the void, as if it could refine the sun, moon, and the universe. Jun Xiaoyao threw immortal sources and star cores into the furnace, turning them into surging energy to refine his body. Every part of his bones began to emit immortal light. The number of origin immortal bones also increased. 70 pieces, 71 pieces, 72 pieces, 100 pieces, 101 pieces, 102 pieces. Finally, he refined all the immortal sources and thousands of star cores. The number of origin immortal bones in Jun Xiaoyao's body reached 140 pieces. This meant that Jun Xiaoyao's entire body, including his torso and limbs, was covered with origin immortal bones. He was getting closer and closer to the true immortal body of the origin immortal. Are you still looking for the sacred body of the ancients? Check in for free? Baidu directly searched. Easy, very simple. =. Chapter 265. Boom. Endless immortal light spread out from Jun Xiaoyao's body. The number of origin immortal bones in his body had doubled. This was not a small number. Every piece of the immortal bone of Saint of the Great Luo would bring about a massive boost to his powers. Moreover, he had now gained 70 origin immortal bones. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's skin and bones were white and shone with divine light. He was like a banished immortal who had walked out of a painting. No one would deny that Jun Xiaoyao was an immortal. The current Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be in peak condition. Next, it's time to break through, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. His cultivation was still at the peak of the consolidation realm. It wasn't that he couldn't break through, but that he was forcefully suppressing it. Jun Xiaoyao didn't break through, but once he did, it would be like a blowout. He wouldn't just break through one realm. The so-called bottleneck didn't exist for Jun Xiaoyao at all. At least before he became a sage, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't encounter any difficult bottlenecks. I can finally begin. Let me see how difficult it is to open up a path. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. If other prodigies stood in Jun Xiaoyao's position, they would definitely be very serious and nervous. But Jun Xiaoyao was different. He was very relaxed and didn't have any burden at all. This was an invincible confidence that represented Jun Xiaoyao's absolute confidence. His talent was peerless, and he had the system. Even the protagonist of the world was only worthy of being an ant under his feet. Jun Xiaoyao's opponent was not other prodigies. It wasn't even God. It was himself. The only thing Jun Xiaoyao needed to do was to surpass his previous self and reach the absolute peak. Let's begin. Jun Xiaoyao took out the origin of the 10 realms. The origin of the 10 continents of heaven and earth surrounded him. Each origin of the world exuded a pure, primitive, and vigorous energy. It was the origin power of the universe that could split heaven and earth. This was an extremely mysterious and powerful ultimate energy. This was also why Jun Zhantian wanted Jun Xiaoyao to use the world origin as an immortal seed. Because in this way, Jun Xiaoyao could possibly control the universe's origin power, evolve all things, and create heaven and earth. However, not even Jun Zhantian would have thought of this. Jun Xiaoyao's ambition was too great. He was not satisfied with this at all. Instead, he wanted to gather the origins of the 10 realms and open up a path that no one had ever walked before. This path might be difficult, but if he succeeded, it would be a miraculous feat. Jun Xiaoyao's only goal at the moment was to become the most powerful being to have existed since the beginning of time. He wanted to transcend everything and reach the highest level. He wanted to reach an unprecedented level and see the scenery that no one else could see. For this ultimate goal, Jun Xiaoyao was willing to do anything. On the stone platform, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged like a god. 10 world origins, like 10 small worlds, revolved around him. Jun Xiaoyao closed his eyes and meditated. There was no need to elaborate on his comprehension ability. When he cultivated divine powers, Jun Zhantian and even the 18th ancestor felt that they had lived for so long in vain. Jun Xiaoyao's comprehension ability was monstrous and rare since ancient times. No complicated cultivation method or divine ability could stump him. However, this time, he was not trying to comprehend any divine powers, but opening up his own path and mastering his own Tao. There was no doubt that it was difficult. Countless geniuses had fallen on this path and ended up as skeletons on the altars. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged and meditated. Tao rhymes filled the air and immortal music sounded. The providence and spirit qi of the 10 realms gathered on Jun Xiaoyao's body. The providence of the heaven-defying king also blessed Jun Xiaoyao. First Literature Network because he was the only person who had gathered all the world origins of the 10 realms. He was qualified to transcend everything and achieve heaven-defying feat. As Jun Xiaoyao began to meditate and transform, the other elites on the altar also had their own harvest. Yan Qingying had already refined the darkness immortal seed and stepped into the Tao integration realm. Her aura had become even deeper. Yu had refined the profound sun divine flame. The true spirit in his mind's divine palace had transformed into a tiny primordial spirit, successfully reaching the nirvana realm. Jiang Luoli, Xiao Maxian, Ji Qingyi, and the others also had their own harvests. Their cultivation realms had risen and their strength had improved. As for Wang Chuan, his harvests were also great. He was also meditating. Wang Chuan was ambitious, but he also wanted to open up his own path. Moreover, as the reincarnation saint body, he also had this opportunity. Thus, Wang Chuan was unwilling to give up. He also wanted to give it a try. Ji Qingyi and the others didn't try because they knew that now wasn't the time. If they wanted to open up their own path, this wasn't their only chance. Moreover, they weren't as heaven-defying as Jun Xiaoyao and their accumulations weren't deep. Even if they tried, their chances of success were extremely low. Thus, seeing Wang Chuan want to meditate, Xiao Maxian and the others were surprised. The two of them are quite ambitious. Xiao Maxian muttered. To open up a path that no one has walked before, that is far too difficult. Ji Qingyi sighed. There were so many skeletons on the altar. They were all proud children of heaven that had tried to open up their own paths, but in the end they had all died. I hope that Big Brother Xiaoyao can succeed. No, you must succeed. Jiang Luoli clenched her fists, cheering for Jun Xiaoyao in her heart. If it were anyone else, Jiang Luoli wouldn't believe that they had a chance of succeeding. But to Jun Xiaoyao, it seemed that there was nothing impossible. Time passed little by little. Jiang Luoli and the others weren't idling around. They continued to cultivate on the altar, trying to enhance themselves. Wang Chuan was the same as Jun Xiaoyao. He was ambitious and wanted to open up his own path. As for the remaining proud children of heaven, besides those that had already perished, the rest had more or less obtained harvests. Of course, their attention was still on Jun Xiaoyao. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was the one and only person in history who had stepped onto the top of the altar of martyrs. Just as Jun Xiaoyao and the others were cultivating in the crack of the 10 realms, waves were stirring in the Huangtian immortal realm once again. The ancient freak of Zulong, Princess Longji, had completely entered the world and traveled the world. In just half a month, she had defeated more than a dozen saints and immortal descendants, and almost all of them were decided within 10 moves. This was no longer a spar, but an absolute suppression of strength. Therefore, Princess Longji, who was already famous, became even more famous, shaking the entire Huangtian immortal realm. Some people even shouted that Princess Longji was the strongest pride of the Huangtian immortal realm, enough to suppress the current generation. Of course, there were a few people who were dissatisfied. After all, there was the young master of the Wang family of the north, Wang Ting, and the reincarnation of the sword demon of the Yi family. Princess Longji wasn't the only ancient freak who had been buried until now. Jun Xiaoyao of the Jun family was also mentioned. Although Jun Xiaoyao had been in the lower worlds for a while, his reputation was still there. Many people still thought that Jun Xiaoyao could definitely fight Princess Longji. However, this attracted some mocking from the Archean royalty. Forget it. Princess Longji was able to defeat the Jun family's man with polychoria even before she recovered. Now that she's in the immortal realm, who can defeat her? That's right. Princess Longji has entered the world and challenged all the prides of the immortal realm. She hasn't lost a single time. This proves that she's invincible. Zulong was promoting Princess Longji. However, her strength was indeed worthy of such praise. The immortal realm was almost the peak of the younger generation in the Huangtian immortal realm. The next step was to ignite the divine fire and enter the 9th level of the immortal realm. Not long after, Princess Longji finally announced that she wanted to fight Jun Xiaoyao. If Jun Xiaoyao didn't want to fight, that would be admitting that the son of God of the Jun family was a coward who didn't dare to accept the challenge. This made the young people of the Jun family, who admired Jun Xiaoyao, angry. Princess Longji knew that Jun Xiaoyao hadn't returned from the lower worlds, yet she released such news. She was obviously trying to embarrass the Jun family and damage Jun Xiaoyao's reputation. Just as everyone was curious about how the Jun family would respond. The sequence number 1 of the Jun family, Jun Lingsong, stepped out and announced that he would fight Princess Longji again to protect the Jun family's reputation. This caused another uproar in the immortal realm. Chapter 266. The Huangtian mystic realm once again stirred up a storm with Princess Longji's appearance. Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the lower realm, was not affected at all. The Jun family of the ancients did not send any message for him to return. This was because Jun Zhantian knew that Jun Xiaoyao would undergo a great transformation in the lower realm. Therefore, he did not allow anyone to disturb Jun Xiaoyao. On the altar of heroes in the rift of the 10 realms, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged, deducing and comprehending the Tao. It was as if he had been sitting cross-legged since ancient times. The origins of the 10 realms revolved around him like a great star. It was as if the moon revolved around the earth. Jun Xiaoyao did not want to use the origins of the 10 realms as a seed. He wanted to walk a unique path. His immortal seed was his own Tao. This was a different kind of using his body as a seed. Of course, this was also very difficult. If it could be done easily, so many geniuses would not have died on the altar of heroes and become skeletons. However, Jun Xiaoyao was different from the other geniuses. His foundation, his accumulation, and his Tao were incomparable to the other ancient geniuses. Jun Xiaoyao was the greatest anomaly since ancient times. His soul did not even belong to this world. As such, it was possible for Jun Xiaoyao to take such a path. Sitting cross-legged on the stone platform, the Tao of heaven and earth gathered on him. Coupled with Jun Xiaoyao's own comprehension, a path filled with mist seemed to be faintly revealed. This state lasted for almost half a month. During this time, Jiang Luoli and the others woke up one after another and completed their cultivation. Each of them had made great progress. They were influenced by the Tao on the altar and comprehended a lot. Jiang Luoli had a deeper understanding of her Yuan spirit Tao body. Yu's Yishun bloodline seemed to be gradually activated. Yan Qingying also had a deep understanding of the god-devouring demonic technique. Ji Qingyi and Xiao Maxian were also satisfied with their harvests. Their gazes simultaneously turned towards Jun Xiaoyao and Wang Chuan. Their ambitions were the greatest. Xiao Maxian glanced at Wang Chuan, her small face changing slightly as she said, "Things are a little bad." Ji Qingyi, Jiang Luoli, and the others also looked towards the river of forgetfulness. The river of forgetfulness was filled with the power of reincarnation. The small 6 paths of reincarnation disc was also supporting him. However, his complexion was as pale as paper, as if he had encountered an enormous obstacle. After another 2 days, Wang Chuan suddenly opened her eyes and could not help but cough up a mouthful of blood. She gasped for air like a fish that had been washed ashore. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with fear. How could it be? How could it be so terrifying? Wang Chuan muttered absent-mindedly, unable to recover for a while. He saw some kind of great terror. If he continued on that path, he would encounter a terrifying calamity. That was something he couldn't bear. In fact, Wang Chuan only felt it for a moment, and she felt as if her insides were being shattered. This was not because Wang Chuan's will was not firm. As an ancient freak that had been sealed away for all eternity, how could his will be weak? But that great dark terror was like a person facing endless darkness. It was enough to make one go crazy. If I didn't stop in time, I might have died here and died. Wang Chuan gasped for breath, finding it hard to calm his heart. He finally understood why the altar was filled with piles of bones. That was simply a dead end. Looking at the palpitating Wang Chuan, Xiao Maxian, Jiang Luoli, and the others were all left speechless. Just what kind of path was this? Even an ancient freak had to return with a broken halberd. Without a doubt, Wang Chuan had failed. But he wasn't too disappointed. This was because Wang Chuan knew that this was a dead end. Wang Chuan looked up at Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting on top of the heroic spirit altar. That's impossible. This path is a dead end. No one can walk it, including you. Wang Chuan muttered. As the reincarnation saint body, there was no need for him to take the risk of death. That was not courage, but stupidity. Thus, Wang Chuan decisively gave up. From another point of view, this could also be considered a kind of firm will. Big brother Xiaoyao, seeing even Wang Chuan fail, Jiang Luoli was even more worried. Facing this sort of path that only a few people had taken since ancient times, it was normal for Jiang Luoli to be worried. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he was actually the most indifferent. He was drawing support from the source of the 10 realms to perceive the essence of the world, the essence of the universe. This was a high level of enlightenment. Originally, it shouldn't have been something that someone of Jun Xiaoyao's level could come into contact with. Even a saint would find it extremely difficult to perceive the source of the universe. But Jun Xiaoyao was different. His ambition was unparalleled. He wanted to establish an invincible Tao foundation at the most basic stage. With the body as the seed, a Tao that belongs to me, transcending the world, Jun Xiaoyao muttered, as if he were talking in his sleep. Suddenly, his Dantian spirit sea began to shine. This was the place where the immortal seed was refined. Dao integration realm cultivators needed a Dao seed that was suitable for them. The higher the level of the Dao seed, the greater the boost it would bring to the cultivator. And Jun Xiaoyao wanted to use his body as the seed and his Dao as the foundation. This was a heaven-defying act that heaven and earth would not tolerate. Return to the source, search for the most basic mystery, and open up a path that belongs to me. Jun Xiaoyao muttered. He suddenly opened his eyes, as if he could see through the past, present, and future with a single glance. The path that was filled with thick fog finally gradually became clear before his eyes. And just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to see it clearly, rumble. Above the firmament there was a rumble. Wisps of flames appeared and fell like a rain of fire, falling in Jun Xiaoyao's direction. How is that possible? That's the nameless hellfire. Jiang Luoli covered her mouth and couldn't help but exclaim. The nameless hellfire was a type of calamity. Generally speaking, it would only appear when a divine fire realm cultivator broke through to the void god realm. This sort of nameless hellfire was not a true fire, but a type of sinful karma. When a divine fire realm cultivator broke through to the first step of the 9 levels of Saint Ascension, the void god realm, they would have to resist this fire. A divine fire realm cultivator would use their own divine fire to resist the nameless hellfire. If they could withstand it, then they could step into the void god realm. If they couldn't, then they would be burned to ashes by the nameless hellfire. But the problem was that Jun Xiaoyao was only breaking through to the Dao integration realm from the consolidation realm, and yet the nameless hellfire had appeared. This simply didn't make sense. It was as if the heavens wanted to bring this calamity down on Jun Xiaoyao ahead of time and destroy him. This is too terrifying. At this stage, who can withstand the burning of the nameless hellfire? Xiao Moxian's face paled. Just feeling this nameless hellfire from afar caused goosebumps to rise all over her body. This sort of terrifying flame was a flame formed from sin. Not only could it burn the body, but it could also burn the soul. It made one feel as if they had fallen into the 18 levels of hell. At this time, everyone's eyes were glued to Jun Xiaoyao. Could he withstand this? Chapter 267. Jun Xiaoyao was not surprised at all by the descent of the nameless karmic fire. In fact, this was within his expectations. Wanting to open up a path without any risk was obviously a fantasy. Jun Xiaoyao was already mentally prepared. Fighting the heavens is a joy. Jun Xiaoyao looked up at the sky, his attitude relaxed. Immortal light surged all over his body, and the power of the 140 origin immortal bones was completely activated. Dense celestial light spread out, making Jun Xiaoyao look like a celestial being who had never fallen into the mortal world. A ball of immortal light turned into a shield, enveloping Jun Xiaoyao. Furthermore, Jun Xiaoyao had also conjured all sorts of defensive measures he could think of. The azure sky ancestral dragon armor, the cloak of the gods. Jun Xiaoyao used all the defenses he could. Boom! The nameless karmic fire fell, crashing toward Jun Xiaoyao. The terrifying temperature was enough to burn all things. Otherwise, the most terrifying thing was that this nameless karmic fire could disturb one's mind and burn one's soul. Many twisted faces appeared before Jun Xiaoyao. Long Haotian, Yang Pan, Fahai, Lin Feng, and the others. These enemies who had died at Jun Xiaoyao's hands seemed to have become evil spirits, wanting to take his life. The nameless karmic fire was the fire of sin. All the sins that Jun Xiaoyao had committed would turn into karmic fire. But Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. Alive, you're only fit to be ants under my feet. Can you still overturn the heavens when you're dead? Jun Xiaoyao calmly guarded his mind, completely unaffected. He also did not feel that he had done anything wrong by killing so many people. A general success was built on the bones of 10,000. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to reach the peak, he would definitely step on countless corpses. Right now, this was only a small portion. In the future, he would only kill more people. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao resist the nameless karmic fire, even Ji Qingyi, Wang Chuan, and the others were slightly stunned. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they absolutely wouldn't believe that someone could resist the tribulation of the divine flame realm at the consolidation realm. Heavens, little big brother Xiaoyao is too fierce. Xiao Maxian's eyes shined with a brilliant light. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, who would have believed it? Originally, Xiao Maxian and the others didn't think that Jun Xiaoyao would be able to walk down this road. But now they were beginning to waver. Perhaps they would be able to witness a miracle with their own eyes. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged on the stone platform. Although the hellfire was blazing around him, he sat calmly on the fishing platform. Jun Xiaoyao was deducing and planning. All sorts of rules of order and the laws of all things were churning in his mind. The surrounding 10 world origins were absorbed into Jun Xiaoyao's dantian. Jun Xiaoyao didn't want to turn the 10 realms' origins into immortal seeds. Instead, he wanted to use the 10 realms' essences as resources to comprehend his own Tao. Gradually, the 10 world origins merged into one in his dantian, turning into a chaotic seed. This seed could be called a 10 realms immortal seed. If one had to rank the innumerable immortal seeds that had appeared since ancient times, this 10 realms immortal seed would definitely be ranked in the top 3. This was an immortal seed formed from the fusion of the 10 realms origins. Its might was simply heaven-defying. Could be said that right now, Jun Xiaoyao could directly refine this 10 realms immortal seed. He would obtain unimaginable support. Once he made a breakthrough in fusion, Jun Xiaoyao would immediately become the most brilliant blazing sun amongst his peers. What a powerful immortal seed! They could feel the terrifying fluctuations of the 10 realms immortal seed within Jun Xiaoyao's body. Xiao Maxian, Ji Qingyi, River of Forgetfulness, and the others all revealed looks of surprise. The immortal seeds they possessed were also extremely high level. But compared to the 10 realms immortal seed, they were far weaker. If I could obtain the 10 realms immortal seed and fuse it together, just how powerful would I be? River of Forgetfulness sighed, a trace of unwillingness in his heart. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to obtain the 10 realms immortal seed. However, what left River of Forgetfulness and the others dumbfounded was that Jun Xiaoyao didn't choose to fuse with the 10 realms immortal seed. He was using the 10 realms immortal seed as nourishment and perceiving his own Tao. Little big brother Xiaoyao is too courageous. If it were me, I would have already fused with the 10 realms immortal seed. Xiao Maxian sighed. This sort of feeling was like Jun Xiaoyao had a broad road in front of him, but he didn't walk down it. He wanted to open up his own path. This sort of thankless task wasn't something that many proud children of heaven would do. They also didn't dare to do it. This was because doing so was likely to attract heavenly retribution and a great terror. River of Forgetfulness had given up because of this. This unknown karmic fire was only foreplay. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As Jun Xiaoyao comprehended, his body began to grow. Within his dantian, it was as if the heavens and earth were being split apart. The chaos origin strength of the universe began to spread out. This strength didn't seem to belong to this world. Rather, it was born from Jun Xiaoyao's body out of thin air. As long as it was an immortal seed, no matter what rank it would be born from this world. Thus, no matter how heaven-defying an immortal seed was, there wouldn't be any problems after refining it. For instance, the 10 realms immortal seed. Although it was heaven-defying, it still wouldn't attract the punishment of the heavens. But things were different now. Within Jun Xiaoyao's dantian, a new energy was born out of thin air. This energy didn't belong to this world. This was a type of energy that Jun Xiaoyao had spontaneously evolved from his own comprehension. To the heavens and earth, this was a strange object that would suffer heavenly retribution. And just as expected, the moment this energy was born, the world changed colors. Winds and clouds surged and thunder rumbled like a surging tide. What's going on? On the altar, all the proud children of heaven felt their hearts palpitate, as if they were facing the end of the world. Rumble, rumble, rumble. In the skies, dark clouds gathered. Then, 7 colored thunderbolts appeared. This is Saint Tribulation? When they saw the 7 colored thunderbolts, all the proud children of heaven felt their minds rumble and fell into a daze. The 7 colored lightning tribulation was a tribulation to become a saint. Normally, it would only be produced when one transcended the tribulation to become a saint. This kind of tribulation was a great threat to even a saint, let alone Jun Xiaoyao. This was simply not giving Jun Xiaoyao any chance of survival. Jiang Luoli, Yu, and Yan Qingying's expressions changed drastically. They couldn't remain calm because this was simply the heavens. They wanted Jun Xiaoyao to die, but they didn't want to give him any chance of survival. As expected, this is a dead end. No one can break through it, Wang Chuan muttered, but she was inexplicably relieved. With Jun Xiaoyao around, all the proud children of this era would be unable to breathe. If Jun Xiaoyao died, it would be like a mountain crushing the heads of all the proud children of heaven. Looking at the 7 colored lightning tribulation that was about to descend, Jun Xiaoyao also let out a deep breath. I didn't expect the heavens to think so highly of me, Jun Xiaoyao smiled. The more it was like this, the more he could prove that the path he had chosen was not wrong. Jun Xiaoyao did not stop there. He continued to create scenes of chaos in his dantian, creating the world. Bang! Finally, the rainbow-colored lightning seemed to have turned into a rainbow-colored true dragon, charging straight at Jun Xiaoyao. The power of this thunderbolt was enough to easily kill a saint. Chapter 268. Boom! After a deafening sound, the 7-colored thunder tribulation landed where Jun Xiaoyao was. In an instant, the 7-colored thunder tribulation spread out in all directions, making crackling sounds. Jiang Luoli's mind went blank, and she couldn't move her body at all, as if she had been petrified. Is he dead? The surrounding geniuses murmured. Ji Qingyi and the others also fixed their gazes on the top of the altar. Logically speaking, it was impossible for Jun Xiaoyao to withstand the 7-colored thunder tribulation. As the thunder tribulation dissipated, everyone's gaze froze. There was a look of horror on their faces. Because Jun Xiaoyao was safe and sound. And the reason why he was safe and sound was because there was a heroic and imposing figure standing in front of him. His black hair fell to his feet, and his entire body exuded a demonic aura. It was the holy physique of the fallen. The holy physique of the fallen roared to the sky. His black hair fluttered in the wind, making him look like an unyielding celestial demon. This, not to mention the others, even Jun Xiaoyao himself was stunned for a moment. He did not infuse his soul power into the holy physique of the fallen. In other words, the holy physique of the fallen was now acting according to his own will and was not under Jun Xiaoyao's control. But how could this be? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. But then he remembered that when he was controlling the holy physique of the fallen, there seemed to be some clarity in the holy physique of the fallen's eyes. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao did not pay much attention to it and thought it was an illusion. But now it seemed that the holy physique of the fallen still maintained a deep level of consciousness. But why did he take the initiative to protect me? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled again. At that moment there was another roar in the sky. The heavens seemed to be very angry that they could not kill Jun Xiaoyao with one blow. Streaks of 7-colored thunder tribulation struck down. Each of the streaks of thunder could easily kill a sage. The holy physique of the fallen roared. He stomped his feet on the ground and soared into the sky to meet the thunder tribulation. Saint Realm experts weren't allowed in the 10 Realms rift. However, at that moment, the fallen Saint Physique was only using his physical strength to resist the power of the 7-colored thunder calamity. He did not have the magical power of a saint. Boom! 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 Bolts of lightning struck Sacred Being of the Fallen, but Sacred Being of the Fallen did not take a step back. Even though his body began to crack, he did not retreat. Jun Xiaoyao took a deep breath. Without any hesitation, he took advantage of this opportunity to continue his enlightenment. Within his body, the 10 realms immortal seed had already completely disappeared, turned into resources, nourishing that lump of energy. That ball of energy belonged to Jun Xiaoyao's own Tao. There seemed to be scenes of the creation of the world and the evolution of the chaos of the universe. As this aura gradually spread out, the space around him collapsed bit by bit, turning into nothingness. It was as if Jun Xiaoyao's Tao was above all the Taos in the world, creating its own rules. Once my Tao appears, all Taos will collapse. Jun Xiaoyao was enlightened. He focused all his attention on his own body. His body seemed to have begun to evolve into a world. It was a world that belonged to him, a Tao that belonged to him, and a path that belonged to him. As Jun Xiaoyao's enlightenment deepened, the power of the 7-colored thunder calamity became stronger and stronger. Even sacred being of the fallen's physical body began to crack and gradually collapse. However, sacred being of the fallen was still like a solid wall, blocking everything for Jun Xiaoyao. This might be a kind of protection from the sacred being of the ancient. Sacred being of the fallen hoped that Jun Xiaoyao could spread the power of the sacred being of the ancients and walk an unprecedented path. For the sacred being of the ancients, all the shackles and curses were removed. Boom! In the end, the endless 7-colored thunder calamity directly drowned sacred being of the fallen. His physical body began to collapse. After all, sacred being of the fallen was not the sacred being of the ancients at its peak. His physical body had been through countless experiments and modifications. In the end, it still lost some of the characteristics of the sacred being of the ancient. Therefore, sacred being of the fallen was finally unable to withstand this terrifying thunder calamity of the apocalypse. His body began to shatter into pieces, and in the end it exploded with a loud bang. At the moment of collapse, there seemed to be a sentence that was transmitted into Jun Xiaoyao's mind. The sacred being of the ancients depends on you. Remember, go to the sacred palace of the ancients. Boom! After protecting Jun Xiaoyao and emitting the last of its remaining heat, Yi Zichen was able to do so. Sacred being of the fallen finally completely collapsed, turned into ashes, and disappeared from the world. Jun Xiaoyao, who heard this, did not have time to be moved. He was focused on deducing the Tao law. However, he heard that sentence and engraved it in his heart. Without the hindrance of sacred being of the fallen, the 7-colored thunder calamity could finally strike Jun Xiaoyao without any hindrance. At this moment, countless heroic spirits appeared around the altar of heroes again. When Jun Xiaoyao was about to reach the top of the altar, tens of thousands of heroic spirits also appeared. Now, there were more than tens of thousands of heroic spirits appearing. There were hundreds of thousands of them. That was not a huge number. One had to know that this was a number that had been accumulated over countless eras and time. Is this really a dead end? Seeing the hundreds of thousands of heroic spirits, Jiang Luoli's little face turned pale. Ji Qingyi and Xiao Maxian also felt a chill. They knew that this path might be very difficult, but they did not expect it to be to this extent. It was no different from a dead end. However, in the next moment, something shocking happened. The hundreds of thousands of heroic spirits were not targeting Jun Xiaoyao, but roaring at the heavens. That's right, they were roaring at the heavens. All of them had once been heroes of ancient times who had made it to the altars. They had wanted to carve out their own paths like Jun Xiaoyao did. However, they had all failed, because the heavens wanted to stop them. Now, after many eras, there was finally someone who could walk their own path. These heroic spirits appeared not to deal with Jun Xiaoyao, but to help Jun Xiaoyao deal with the unfair heavens. Why should humans be trapped by heaven and earth? Why should they only be prisoners in shackles? This was a rebellion against fate. Rumble! Hundreds of thousands of heroic spirits attacked together to resist the heavens. How terrifying was this power! Even the seven-colored lightning tribulation had to retreat before it. Jun Xiaoyao was surrounded by hundreds of thousands of heroic spirits like a god. He looked at the fallen sacred body that had been reduced to ashes and the hundreds of thousands of heroic spirits that had protected him. Even Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. In his dantian, the ball of energy was infinitely compressed and finally seemed to turn into nothingness. However, in the nothingness, a dot suddenly appeared. This point seemed to encompass all things and the universe. A brand new path gradually appeared. This dot did not belong to this world, but was created by Jun Xiaoyao himself. Just as this dot was about to form in the sky, the seven-colored lightning tribulation intertwined and finally turned into a thunderous human face. The thunderous human face was incomparably huge and filled the sky. It opened its mouth, and a terrifying beam of lightning poured down on Jun Xiaoyao. Even though the hundreds of thousands of heroic spirits fought back with all their might, they were unable to resist and were reduced to ashes amidst the screams. Facing this final move that the heavens wanted to use to kill him, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. His Tao, his path, was about to be formed. How could he give up now? Come, I, Jun Xiaoyao, want to compete with the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao shouted coldly and raised his hand. 3 beams of sword aura streaked across the sky and appeared. Faintly, there was a faint emperor's aura being emitted. That is Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, Wang Chuan, Jiang Luoli, Yu, Yan Qingying, and the rest of the geniuses. Their eyes widened and they took a deep breath. Huge waves surged in their hearts. This was the Emperor's aura. Chapter 269. Anything that had anything to do with the Emperor represented the highest of all things. The thing that could best display the might of a great emperor was undoubtedly an imperial armament. However, what kind of existence was an imperial armament? It was a strategic weapon, one of the foundations of an immortal family. It could be said that even the successors of immortal powers could not carry an imperial armament with them. Firstly, imperial armaments were too precious. Secondly, it was impossible for the younger generation of geniuses to unleash the might of an imperial armament. Hence, it was impossible for young geniuses to have an imperial armament. However, Wang Chuan and the others were rather baffled by the sight of Jun Xiaoyao bringing out 3 ancient swords. Those 3 swords were the 3 swords of Coiling Emperor. Jun Xiaoyao had already gathered the 3 swords of Coiling Emperor. However, he had not taken them out before. Now, facing the might of the heavenly tribulation, Jun Xiaoyao could only take out these 3 trump cards: Coiling Emperor Life Sword, Coiling Emperor Time Sword, and Coiling Emperor Void Sword. The 3 swords overlapped in the air and started to merge. An emperor's might started to spread out. The 3 swords of Coiling Emperor were originally split from the imperial armament Coiling Emperor Sword. Now that they merged, there was naturally no obstruction. In just a few breaths of time, a terrifying imperial armament with vast emperor's might appeared. It was an ancient sword with a sharpness that could cut through everything in the world. Countless living beings seemed to be worshipping the ancient sword. The aura of time spread out, causing space to collapse, unable to withstand the might of the sword. The imperial armament Coiling Emperor Sword finally appeared in the world. Could that be the Coiling Emperor Sword of the Panwu Jin dynasty? But why would it appear in Jun Xiaoyao's hands? Xiao Maxian and the others were stunned. Imperial armaments were rare. They were the weapons that great emperors nurtured their entire lives. Hence, under normal circumstances, only immortal powers that had produced great emperors could possess them. Hence, most imperial armaments were familiar to everyone. They knew which immortal forces had what kind of extreme Tao emperor weapons. As for the Coiling Emperor Sword, it was an imperial armament nurtured by great Emperor Panwu. It was passed down from the Panwu Jin dynasty. However, it was later split into 3 and scattered everywhere. In the end, champion Marquis Yang Pan appeared and obtained 1/3 of the Pan Huang sword. It was because of this that River of Forgetfulness, Xiao Maxian, Ji Qingyi, and the others were so shocked when they saw Jun Xiaoyao take out the coiling emperor sword. Jiang Luoli knew about it before, so she wasn't too surprised. He actually has an imperial armament. If he had brought it out earlier, he would not have needed to fight with me for so long. He could have heavily injured or even killed me with a single strike. Wang Chuan still had lingering fear. Although Jun Xiaoyao could not fully unleash the power of the imperial armament, he could not even control it smoothly. However, even if he could only unleash a 10,000th of the imperial armament's power, it was enough to pose a huge threat to the River of Forgetfulness. He could even destroy his minor 6 paths of reincarnation disk with a single slash. That imitation of an imperial armament would not be able to withstand an actual imperial armament. At the moment when the crowd was astonished by Jun Xiaoyao's imperial armament, a voice suddenly rang out. The terrifying lightning beam struck the Pan Huang sword directly. In an instant, the coiling emperor's sword shook, and a vast emperor's might spread out. The emperor could not be humiliated. Imperial weapons were not to be humiliated. Boom! This impact directly triggered the counterattack of the coiling emperor's sword. This was not Jun Xiaoyao controlling the coiling emperor's sword. Instead, the coiling emperor's sword instinctively counterattacked. A sword light shot out from the coiling emperor's sword, as if it could tear through the void for 10,000 miles. The lightning pillar was directly split into 2 by the sword light. It was split in half from the middle. Just as I expected. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a smirk. He was certain that the coiling emperor's sword would automatically reveal its emperor's might. If Jun Xiaoyao were the one controlling it, it would be difficult for him to unleash the power of the imperial armament, let alone resist the heavenly punishment. The coiling emperor's sword could be said to have bought Jun Xiaoyao the most precious time. The origin point in Jun Xiaoyao's dantian finally took shape. The moment it took shape, the entire world seemed to freeze and fall silent. All sound had been sucked away. The great Tao of heaven and earth seemed to freeze for an instant. When one Tao appeared, all Tao submitted. The moment Jun Xiaoyao's Tao appeared, the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths and the endless realms froze for an instant. That's right, it was only an instant. It was an instant that could not be any shorter. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was able to overwhelm all the great paths in the heavens in that very short amount of time. However, after an instant, the world returned to normal as if nothing had happened. However, some ancient existences felt this abnormality. In the immortal realm, in some ancient noble families, Archean royalty, imperishable great sects, and supreme dynasties, there were old antiques who had lived for countless epochs. What happened just now? Why does it feel like everything fell into an absolute standstill for an instant? How is that possible? Who is it? Is it the doing of a great emperor? No, impossible. Not to mention a great emperor, even the legendary immortals can't have such mighty power to affect the operation of the great Tao and spread throughout the 9 heavens and 10 earths. What's going on? I can't capture the source of this abnormality. That's right, it feels like the source of this abnormality doesn't belong to the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Many old antiques and authorities in the 9 heavens immortal realm were astounded. Some were even trembling in fear. Even the rulers of the forbidden zones in the forbidden zones were speculating. In the ancient burial ground, the terrifying creatures that had been buried for countless epochs were woken up from their deep slumber. In other words, these old antiques and living fossils would never have thought of it. The abnormality that spread throughout the 9 heavens and 10 earths was caused by a young 9 heavens supreme who had just achieved the Tao reunion realm. Meanwhile, in the Jun clan of the ancients, those who were related to Jun Xiaoyao by blood could vaguely sense it. The closer their blood was, the stronger the reaction. This feeling, could it be Xiaoyao? Jun Zhantian's old face was filled with bewilderment. He only wanted Jun Xiaoyao to go down to the lower realm to find a world origin seed. What exactly did Jun Xiaoyao do to trigger such a reaction? However, A moment later, Jun Zhantian stroked his beard and smiled. He proudly said, "As expected of my grandson. He always brings unexpected surprises. Now, I'm really looking forward to his return. I want to see what he has done." Jun Zhantian was overjoyed. He assumed Jun Xiaoyao must have found some laudifying immortal seed that was stronger than the world origin seed. He never thought Jun Xiaoyao would carve out his own path. At the same time, in a certain indescribable and inexplicable place, a white-clothed figure was sitting cross-legged in the darkness of ancient times. His body was slightly damaged. His long hair was disheveled and covered his eyes. "This feeling, it's my son," the figure in a white robe murmured. He rose to his feet, as if he was looking into the distance. The rift shattered as soon as he rose to his feet, as if the heavens and earth could not withstand his terrifying power. The overwhelming aura suppressed the 9 heavens and 10 earths and swept across the past, present, and future. Even a supreme 9 heavens supreme was as petty as an ant before the figure in a white robe. Chapter 270. Jun Xiaoyao himself did not expect that the path he opened up would have such an impact. That further proved that the path that Jun Xiaoyao had chosen was the right one. At this moment, on top of the altar of heroes, Jun Xiaoyao's body was shrouded in an unusual aura. A deep origin point appeared in his dantian. That origin seemed to be the embryonic form of the universe, but also like the placenta of the world. It was as if that origin point could evolve into the universe and the myriad realms in the future. And Jun Xiaoyao himself was the creator of the universe. At the same time that this origin was completely formed, the nameless karmic fire and the 7-colored tribulation lightning also dissipated silently. Because Jun Xiaoyao's Tao had been formed and could no longer be nipped in the bud. Of course, this did not mean that Jun Xiaoyao could sit back and relax. In the future, his Tao would definitely encounter many setbacks. Because this origin was only the starting point of Jun Xiaoyao's Tao. As the origin continued to evolve, every time it evolved, it would encounter many disasters, be it natural disasters or man-made disasters. But Jun Xiaoyao did not care. His strength would only become stronger as time passed. Now, the heavens could not kill him. It would be even more difficult to kill him in the future. Jun Xiaoyao was confident that he would be able to fully develop his own path. He really succeeded. When they saw that the lightning tribulation had dissipated and Jun Xiaoyao was safe and sound, the geniuses on the altar were all a little dazed. This was a path that countless geniuses had wanted to open up since ancient times but had not been able to, but Jun Xiaoyao had opened it. If this news were to spread to the immortal region, it would cause a huge uproar. In any case, it would definitely be more shocking than anything Jun Xiaoyao had done before. Because this was no longer just creating a miracle, but opening up a new world. Jun Xiaoyao had the potential to change the course of history. He has opened up this path. At this moment, Wang Chuan did not know what to feel. Envy, jealousy, fear, and even a trace of admiration. Jun Xiaoyao's existence had refreshed that ancient freak's perception of himself, making him realize just how insignificant he was. In the previous epochs, as long as an ancient freak appeared, they would be able to suppress the other geniuses of that generation. They could be said to be invincible. And now, Jun Xiaoyao proved that ancient freaks were not invincible. Times had changed. Ji Qingyi's eyes flickered. She had not expected Jun Xiaoyao to be able to walk this path. This was a feat that transcended eras. As for Xiao Moxian, her eyes shined with a brilliant light. Don't be fooled by the fact that her words were usually shocking and she seemed to be very open-minded. In fact, it was all just talk. She had never really had an intimate relationship with any man, nor had she ever been moved by any of them. She had only ever teased them verbally. But now, Xiao Moxian discovered that Jun Xiaoyao was far too outstanding. It made her wonder how such a perfect man could exist in this world. His talent, strength, and appearance were 1 in 1,000,000, and he was the best in his generation. Now, he had even walked down his own path. If he didn't perish in the future, confirming his Tao and becoming an emperor might not be his limit. Xiao Moxian, who had always been a boastful person, began to have some thoughts in her heart. She began to think about how she could maintain a good relationship with Jun Xiaoyao. As for Jiang Luoli, she was naturally overjoyed. She felt proud of Jun Xiaoyao. Yu and Yan Qingying also revealed feverish worship in their eyes. This was the young master they were loyal to, an existence that had opened up an era. If they followed Jun Xiaoyao, they would never have to worry about not ruling over the world in the future. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about these looks of awe or dread. Now, he was focused on the Tao within his body. This origin point was filled with the pure power of chaos from the universe's source. This was a strength that Jun Xiaoyao had derived from himself. He didn't rely on any external objects. The 10-world immortal seed had only accelerated this evolution. This origin point represents the starting point of my Tao. In the future, it will evolve from this point, evolving into a domain, a small world, and even a boundless universe. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself, his eyes bright. Jun Xiaoyao called this point the origin point of God, or the singularity of God. As a transmigrator, Jun Xiaoyao knew that the singularity was the beginning of the universe, the root of the evolution of all things. The origin point of God in his Dantian was the singularity of the universe, the starting point of his own world. With the formation of the origin point of God, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation realm also began to loosen. The origin point of God was Jun Xiaoyao's Tao integration immortal seed. He had fused with his own Tao, so his breakthrough was naturally incomparably smooth. Early Tao integration realm, middle Tao integration realm, late Tao integration realm, small perfection Tao integration realm, large perfection Tao integration realm. In a short instant, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation realm broke through to the large perfection Tao integration realm without any resistance. Moreover, because it was fused with his own Tao, Jun Xiaoyao felt that his body was incomparably perfect. He could use magic power almost without limit. Although the golden spirit sea of the sacred body of the ancients was very vast and his magic power was vigorous, if he kept using it, there would be a day when it would be exhausted and he would need to refine the spirit qi of the world outside. But now, Jun Xiaoyao did not need to do that. He had the origin point of God, so he could use the power of the origin point of God. It was an endless power. In other words, Jun Xiaoyao's magic power would never be exhausted. Not only that, but the origin point of God also had a special and terrifying power. That was the power of the origin point of the universe. This power was very terrifying. It was even more powerful than the power of reincarnation, the power of chaos, and other powers. Of course, this power was still in its infancy and was not much, but it was enough to give Jun Xiaoyao a huge boost. Jun Xiaoyao even felt that even if he mobilized a trace of the power of the origin point of the universe, it would be enough to destroy the void and sweep across all world. This power of the origin point of the universe was Jun Xiaoyao's own power, and it was also one of his biggest trump cards at the moment. It's time to continue to break through, Jun Xiaoyao murmured to himself. He was not satisfied with breaking through to the perfected level of the path integration realm. Jun Xiaoyao had not broken through for a long time. Naturally, he would not just break through one major realm this time. Jun Xiaoyao directly brought out the 2 ancient emperor flame. This colorful flame seed carried with it a terrifying might that could incinerate the heavens. This was the emperor flame, the highest level fire seed. Jun Xiaoyao directly swallowed the 2 ancient emperor flame, burned himself, and baptized Nirvana. Logically speaking, Nirvana with a fire seed was a very dangerous thing to do. If it were other geniuses, they would have to be very careful. They would need to prepare all kinds of pills, sacred medicines, and even elixirs of immortality in advance to prevent the nirvana from failing and dying. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not care at all. He directly began to nirvana without any preparation. Or rather, he did not need to prepare at all. Is he going to nirvana directly? Wang Chuan and the others were stunned. Jun Xiaoyao had just broken through 5 stages and reached the perfected level of the path integration realm. Now, he was breaking through again. Moreover, the colorful flames caused Wang Chuan's heart to palpitate. This was definitely not an ordinary divine flame, but a terrifying emperor flame. Using this kind of flame to nirvana was extremely dangerous. There was an 80 to 90% chance that one would perish and die. Of course, if one could successfully nirvana, the benefits would be much greater than using ordinary divine flames. Just as Wang Chuan and the others thought that Jun Xiaoyao would experience a difficult nirvana, the next scene shocked them so much that they almost stopped breathing. Chapter 271. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged on the stone platform, his entire body burning with multicolored flames. If any other proud son of heaven were to refine this too she ancient emperor flame, there was a 99% chance they would perish. This was because its might was far too tyrannical. Jun Xiaoyao didn't make any preparations. Like this, he began his nirvana. Then, something shocking occurred. The two-she ancient emperor flame wasn't able to bring any fatal danger to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's body was charred black. His body and soul began to burn away at the two-she ancient emperor flame. But, his expression didn't change at all, nor did he show any signs of pain. His appearance was like an old monk in meditation. An incomparably boundless blood vitality and life force surged through Jun Xiaoyao's body. How is this possible? River of Forgetfulness, Xiao Maxian, Ji Qingyi, and the others were shocked to the extreme. By all reasoning, the nirvana realm was an extremely difficult hurdle. If one wasn't careful then they could fail their nirvana. Even top proud sons of heaven like them needed all sorts of pills and immortal medicines as they underwent their nirvana. They also needed someone to protect them. But Jun Xiaoyao was by himself. Without any assistance, he had begun his nirvana. But, he didn't seem to be threatened at all. I thought that I had already overestimated Brother Xiaoyao, but now Jun Xiaoyao's performance left Ji Qingyi speechless. Any exclamations she made were unnecessary. Jun Xiaoyao's body and true spirit began to transform. The reason he was immune to the fatal wounds of the two-she ancient emperor flame was because of this. The reason for that was the divine origin within his body. Wisps of the original power of the universe were released, protecting Jun Xiaoyao's physical body. Even something as strong as the Emperor Flame wasn't able to cause any fatal wounds to Jun Xiaoyao. In fact, the fiercer the two-she ancient Emperor Flame was, the greater Jun Xiaoyao's harvests would be. Within his mind's divine palace, his true spirit bathed in the 7-colored Emperor Flame and began to undergo a deep transformation. This nirvana transformation continued for 7 days and 7 nights. River of Forgetfulness and the others didn't leave. They carefully observed. It was even more impossible for them to interfere or disturb Jun Xiaoyao. This was because as long as they approached Jun Xiaoyao, the two-she ancient Emperor Flame would be drawn towards them. Wang Chuan and the others were not Jun Xiaoyao. They were not immune to the damage of the two-she ancient Emperor Flame. Xiaoyao Gij will definitely succeed. Jiang Luoli wasn't worried at all. Jun Xiaoyao could even open up his own great Tao, so this level of nirvana did not seem to be much. Inside Jun Xiaoyao's Sea God Palace, the true spirit finally took shape. Souls were supposed to be most afraid of being burned by flames. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's true spirit wasn't afraid at all. Amidst the flames, Jun Xiaoyao's true spirit finally transformed. 3 flowers appeared. The flower carried with it the aura of time, as if it existed in the past. A flower, half real and half fake, surrounded by fragments of time, as if it existed in the future. There was also a flower that was incomparably magnificent and divine, with a tiny primordial spirit sitting cross-legged on top of it. It looked like a miniature version of Jun Xiaoyao, and its entire primordial spirit was also full of immortal energy. This is, Jun Xiaoyao looked inside himself and was surprised. 3 flowers appeared in his sea god palace, as if they represented the past, present, and future. And of the 3 flowers, only this one revealed a tiny primordial spirit. There was nothing on the other 2 flowers. Could this be the primordial spirit of 3 lives? Jun Xiaoyao was extremely surprised. He had accidentally seen it in the ancient books in the Jun family's Hidden Scriptures pavilion. The primordial spirit of 3 lives was the rarest and rarest primordial spirit. If one cultivated it to the great success stage, the past, present, and future primordial spirits of 3 lives would sit cross-legged on the 3 great Tao flowers. As long as any one of the primordial spirits existed, the primordial spirit would never be destroyed. This was terrifying to the extreme, and it was simply heaven-defying. In addition, the primordial spirit of 3 lives also had various special abilities that were hard to explain at the moment. Jun Xiaoyao also didn't expect that he would be able to transform into the primordial spirit of 3 lives. This was definitely the top primordial spirit. Since ancient times, there were few primordial spirits that could compare to it. The harvest this time is too great. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but sigh. His divine seed was a divine origin that belonged exclusively to him. His primordial spirit was the most powerful primordial spirit since ancient times, the primordial spirit of 3 lives. Jun Xiaoyao really wanted to ask who else was there? With the formation of the primordial spirit of 3 lives, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation realm also skyrocketed again. The early stage of the Nirvana realm, the middle stage of the Nirvana realm, the late stage of the Nirvana realm, the small perfection stage of the Nirvana realm, the great perfection stage of the Nirvana realm. Jun Xiaoyao once again broke through 5 small realms in a row, and then a big realm. The surrounding geniuses didn't know what expression to show. For them, the Nirvana realm was extremely dangerous. For Jun Xiaoyao, it was as if he had just sat cross-legged for a few days and easily passed it. Continue. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were clear. He didn't stop breaking through. The accumulation of experience over a long period of time gave Jun Xiaoyao the greatest motivation. He broke through the perfected Nirvana realm again and reached the Heaven Ascension realm. The Heaven Ascension realm was the resonance between the primordial spirit and the divine seed, and a single thought could reach the heavens. The Heaven Ascension realm could also be called a noble. The so-called noble weapon was the divine weapon used by the Heaven Ascension realm nobles. Further up was the divine fire realm, and then the 9th level of the Saint Ascension realm. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit of 3 lives and divine origin were both the best. When the 2 resonated, the power was unimaginably powerful. The bottleneck of the Heaven Ascension realm was almost easily broken. Jun Xiaoyao began to break through crazily again. The early stage of the Heaven Ascension realm, the middle stage of the Heaven Ascension realm, the late stage of the Heaven Ascension realm, the lesser perfection of the Heaven Ascension realm, the greater perfection of the Heaven Ascension realm. Shocking, stunned, an unprecedented impact. Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation breakthrough overturned the worldviews of the geniuses of the lower world. They were all cultivators. Why was it that when they cultivated, it was like they were climbing a mountain? But when they cultivated, it was like they were riding a rocket. These geniuses of the lower world all began to doubt themselves. Were they trash? No. They were worse than trash. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, they were simply dregs, trash. Not to mention these geniuses of the lower world. Even Wang Chuan and the others wanted to dig out their eyeballs because they didn't want to see this cruel scene. Jun Xiaoyao's crazy breakthrough was too cruel to them. Comparisons were odious, especially Wang Chuan. As an ancient freak, he had also successfully broken through to the perfected Heaven Ascension realm in his previous cultivation. He had just gained a little confidence in his heart, thinking that he could barely compete with Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao directly crossed 3 major realms and 15 minor realms in one go to catch up with him. Wang Chuan cursed in his heart, but he didn't know whether to say it or not. However, what Jun Xiaoyao said next almost shattered the Tao heart of an ancient freak like Wang Chuan. Reaching the Heaven Ascension realm at the age of 14 is a little slower than I expected. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. Although he was very satisfied with his gains, he still felt a little regretful, thinking that his cultivation speed was still a little slow. Wang Chuan couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Jun Xiaoyao, you are a ruthless person. Chapter 272. Jun Xiaoyao's words were like a heavy blow to the river of forgetfulness, almost causing his Tao heart to collapse. You're already a heavenly king at 14 years old. What else do you want? Do you want to ascend to the heavens? The river of forgetfulness's Tao heart trembled. The Tao heart of an ancient freak should be as firm as a rock, unshakable. But facing a freak like Jun Xiaoyao, who had never appeared before in history, even an ancient freak would not be able to withstand it. His Tao heart was about to collapse. The river of forgetfulness took deep breaths, forcing himself to calm down. Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, and the others were also unable to calm down. Previously, although Jun Xiaoyao was invincible among the younger generation of the immortal region, his cultivation realm was not outstanding. But now, Jun Xiaoyao had broken through 3 major realms and 15 minor realms in such a short time. His cultivation realm was already at the top of the younger generation of the immortal region. When Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation was not outstanding, he could already sweep through everyone. Now that his cultivation had completely caught up and reached the top, just how strong was Jun Xiaoyao now? Jiang Luoli's eyes shone. If the geniuses of the immortal region knew that Jun Xiaoyao had improved so much in the lower realm, their eyes would definitely pop out of their sockets, right? She was looking forward to seeing Jun Xiaoyao's heroic appearance after he returned to the immortal region. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was standing at the top of the martyr's altar. His entire being seemed otherworldly and unfathomable. The transformation of the martyr's altar this time was too great for Jun Xiaoyao, and the changes were too great. The current him and the previous him were like 2 completely different existences. The current Jun Xiaoyao had grasped his own Tao. This meant that Jun Xiaoyao could jump out of the 3 realms and not be controlled by the 5 elements. Even if the 9 heavens and 10 earths collapsed, Jun Xiaoyao would not die. Because he was an individual that was completely independent of this world, an anomaly that heaven and earth could not tolerate. Throughout the past 1 billion years, who can stand shoulder to shoulder with me? Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands clasped behind his back. His figure was tall and slender, and his aura was unyielding as he muttered to himself. This was not arrogance, but a kind of invincible confidence. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's extraordinary figure and listening to his unruly words, Jiang Luoli's heart was about to melt. Her eyes were filled with incomparable worship and infatuation. Not only her, but Jun Xiaoyao's confidence and charisma at this moment was something that no female could avoid. Xiao Maxian couldn't help but drool from the corners of her mouth. She suddenly realized that she was craving Jun Xiaoyao's body. Even Ji Qingyi, who was as aloof as Qinglian, found it hard to remain calm. Her Tao heart was like a lotus, so she would not be easily moved. However, at this moment, her mind couldn't help but sway and tremble slightly. As for Yu and Yan Qingying, the 2 followers, they revealed incomparable worship. This was the young master they followed. Throughout the countless years of history, there were very few people who were qualified to stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Jun Xiaoyao sighed as he stood on top of the altar. He then roughly sorted out what he had gained. There were simply too many to count. The strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant had transformed. The origin immortal bone had increased. His cultivation had broken through to the heavenly king Marquis realm. He had obtained the second volume of the body scripture. He had opened up his own path and evolved into the divine origin. He had also signed in the two she ancient emperor flame, undergone nirvana, and obtained the 3 lives primordial spirit. It was indeed right to descend to the lower realms. My gains this time are too great. Jun Xiaoyao sighed with emotion. He had gained a lot. It could be said that if the current Jun Xiaoyao were to fight the previous Jun Xiaoyao, he would definitely be able to crush him. This was because the current Jun Xiaoyao had opened up his own path and grasped his own Tao. Their combat strength could not be mentioned in the same breath. His gaze locked onto River of Forgetfulness, and an inexplicable light appeared in his eyes. Being stared at by Jun Xiaoyao, River of Forgetfulness's hair stood on end. She had the illusion that she was being stared at by an ancient beast. Not good, let's go. River of Forgetfulness was startled. Without hesitation, she turned around and rushed away. As Jun Xiaoyao completed his transformation, the restrictions on the entire martyr's altar were also removed. All the geniuses were free to leave. River of Forgetfulness's figure shot into the distance, wanting to escape. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao shook his head with a faint smile. For better or worse, you're an ancient freak. What's the point of running away without a fight? Jun Xiaoyao lightly said. Now, looking at everyone present, the only one who had some enmity with Jun Xiaoyao was River of Forgetfulness. As for Xiao Moxian, she was extremely obedient and wouldn't go against Jun Xiaoyao. Therefore, the only person Jun Xiaoyao needed to deal with was River of Forgetfulness. Behind him, the snow-white and sacred wings of freedom appeared. This was the evolved version of the demon wings. It had washed away the evil demonic aura and became incomparably sacred. The wings of freedom flapped slightly, and Jun Xiaoyao displayed extreme speed in the void. This speed was far, far faster than the demon wings from before. It was true freedom, as if he could roam the heavens. In just a short moment, Jun Xiaoyao's figure appeared behind River of Forgetfulness. River of Forgetfulness was startled and hurriedly took out the small 6 paths of reincarnation disc to block. Jun Xiaoyao didn't take out the coiling emperor sword. He wanted to test his own strength now, so he didn't rely on any external object. Jun Xiaoyao simply punched out. 10 billion kilograms of terrifying divine power poured out. This represented the peak of Jun Xiaoyao's strength at this stage. 10 billion kilograms was a limit. It was also a strength that geniuses of the same generation couldn't imagine. Rumble. Jun Xiaoyao's punch shattered the void and directly smashed onto the small 6 paths of reincarnation disc. With a loud bang, the small 6 paths of reincarnation disc trembled violently. An extremely frightening rebound force viciously struck Wang Chuan's body. River of Forgetfulness's chest felt stuffy, as if she had been hit by a sledgehammer. She spat out blood and was sent flying. Seeing this scene, Ji Qingyi, Xiao Moxian, and the others couldn't help but be shocked. This was an ancient freak. Moreover, she had the sacred reincarnation constitution. Yet, she was defeated by Jun Xiaoyao in one move. Previously, River of Forgetfulness and Jun Xiaoyao could still fight evenly. Now, she couldn't even withstand a single blow. My strength is indeed much stronger than before. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't surprised. This was because his strength had increased by too much this time. The Heaven Ascension realm could reach the heavens with a single thought. With a raise of his hand, there was great power that could destroy everything in all directions. Although River of Forgetfulness was also in the Heaven Ascension realm, in terms of strength, she obviously couldn't compare to Jun Xiaoyao. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had walked his own path. That's right, I should try the power of the origin of God, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He completely treated River of Forgetfulness as a whetstone to test his Tao. The deep origin in Jun Xiaoyao's dantian seemed to evolve all things in the world. It had a Tao that belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. A wisp of the universe's origin power spread out and supported Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao punched out again. In an instant, chaos spread, the universe was created, and heaven and earth were overturned. It was as if they had arrived at the origin of the creation of heaven and earth. Jun Xiaoyao's punch seemed to be able to create and destroy all things. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was like the only ruler, a god who created and destroyed the world. River of Forgetfulness was so scared that her soul almost left her body. She didn't feel like she was facing a prodigy of the same generation. Instead, she was facing a true god. Chapter 273. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's aura was too strong. It was as if a creator of the universe had arrived. He could destroy with a thought and create with a thought. When this fist smashed down, it was as if the universe was pressing down, bringing endless terror and despair to the onlookers. It was like a person facing the endless universe, insignificant and helpless. This was the power of the universe's origin. Even if it was just a wisp, it was enough to produce a huge amount of energy. Not to mention Wang Chuan and the others, even Jun Xiaoyao himself was a little surprised by this power. Controlling destruction and regeneration. This power is too terrifying. But now, it's only in the brewing stage. Jun Xiaoyao thought. The origin of God was the starting point of Jun Xiaoyao's Tao. In the future, the origin would continue to transform and produce all kinds of unbelievable changes. Jun Xiaoyao's power would only become stronger and stronger. With a punch, the ground caved in, and a deep pit with a radius of nearly 10,000 feet was smashed out. Endless cracks spread out, and the entire ground was shattered. Wang Chuan's entire body was smashed into the ground, and cracks appeared on the small 6 paths of reincarnation. One had to know that this was a supreme artifact. Although Wang Chuan couldn't fully unleash the power of the small 6 paths of reincarnation, it wasn't something that anyone could easily defeat. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao, who had beaten the ancient freak to a pulp with a single punch, they didn't know whether he was dead or alive. Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, and the others didn't know what to say. They couldn't imagine how miserable Jun Xiaoyao's opponents and enemies would be if he returned to the celestial realm. Cough, cough, there was the sound of coughing blood. Wang Chuan stepped out of the deep pit step by step. His body was broken, and his chin was stained with blood. His aura was extremely weak. Wang Chuan's eyes were also filled with fear. In his era, Wang Chuan had reached the peak and was one of the most powerful young supremes. But in this era, Wang Chuan had just been born, and he had encountered Jun Xiaoyao. It could be said that he was very miserable. Otherwise, he would probably continue the glory of the sacred reincarnation physique. "Oh, you're not dead yet?" Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised. As expected of an ancient freak, there was still something special about him. If it were a prodigy of the current generation, he would have been smashed into minced meat by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. Although Wang Chuan was barely alive, it was clear that she did not have the strength to continue fighting. "It's over." Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. Jun Xiaoyao would let them go for the time being, unless they were valuable enemies, such as Shao Qin and Yang Pan. However, the River of Forgetfulness was of no use to him. Moreover, it was an ancient freak, and posed a certain threat. Jun Xiaoyao naturally would not be soft-hearted. Instead, he wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the root. Sensing Jun Xiaoyao's killing intent, Forget Chuan's heart turned cold. He had been hidden in the lower realm for countless years, and as soon as he came out, he still wanted to sweep through the current generation. But now, he was going to die. Wang Chuan could not accept this result. It was too tragic. Die. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent as he slammed his palm down. Origin energy flowed between his fingers and palm, causing the void to collapse. With this palm, the River of Forgetfulness could no longer resist. As Xiao Maxian saw this, her face tightened. River of Forgetfulness could be considered her ally, and there was a chance that he would join the celestial demon cult. She wanted to stop him, but she couldn't find the words to do so. Xiao Moxian was also well aware of Jun Xiaoyao's personality. Would he stop because of Xiao Moxian's dissuasion? That was clearly impossible. Thus, in the end, she didn't try to dissuade him, lest she angered Jun Xiaoyao. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's palm pressing down, River of Forgetfulness clenched his teeth and finally said, "I am willing to surrender." Hearing this, Jiang Luoli and the others were surprised. An ancient freak had actually opened his mouth to surrender. Before this was something that was unimaginable. However, Jun Xiaoyao's complexion didn't change at all. To him, whether River of Forgetfulness begged for mercy or not, the result was the same. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's indifference, River of Forgetfulness clenched his fists. He had just broken through the seal and hadn't even gone to the immortal realm to reveal his glory. How could he be willing to die like this? "Wait, Jun Xiaoyao, I still have some value to you," River of Forgetfulness shouted. Jun Xiaoyao arched an eyebrow. River of Forgetfulness made up his mind. He didn't want to die like this, so he could only take out his final bargaining chip. River of Forgetfulness sent a sound transmission to Jun Xiaoyao, informing him of some matters. For instance, he was the saint's son of the demon sect of Samsara, the only person who could find the demon sect of Samsara's treasury. In the demon sect of Samsara's treasury, there was even an emperor weapon, the 6 Paths of Samsara disc. Originally, River of Forgetfulness couldn't casually let others know of this matter. But now, in order to survive, River of Forgetfulness could only do this. Jun Xiaoyao's palm stopped in front of River of Forgetfulness, only 3 feet away from his head. River of Forgetfulness was covered in a cold sweat, his face pale. If he had spoken a moment later, he might have been a headless corpse. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Although he didn't fully believe River of Forgetfulness's words, he felt that it was very likely. "You should know the consequences of deceiving this son of God." Jun Xiaoyao looked down with a cold gaze. "Of course I know. Now that the demon sect of Samsara has disappeared in the long river of history, I'm the only one left. How would I dare to deceive you and the Jun family?" River of Forgetfulness replied. Right now, he was all alone. And Jun Xiaoyao was backed by a huge immortal family. If River of Forgetfulness had deceived Jun Xiaoyao, he wouldn't be able to escape death in the end. "You can live, but you have to plant a slave seal." The first half of Jun Xiaoyao's sentence made River of Forgetfulness heave a sigh of relief. Then, his expression turned ugly. The slave seal was an extremely humiliating method. Jun Xiaoyao used this method to deal with Wu Mingyue before, but he still released her in the end. If the slave seal was planted, River of Forgetfulness's life and death would be in Jun Xiaoyao's hands. But this wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that he was an ancient freak. Who would dare to believe that an ancient freak would be planted with a slave seal? River of Forgetfulness secretly gritted his teeth and said, "Can you take a step back, even if it means becoming a follower?" At least becoming a follower wasn't as extreme as planting a slave seal. And Jun Xiaoyao had walked his own path. If he didn't fall in the future, he would definitely reach the peak. Therefore, it wasn't unacceptable to become Jun Xiaoyao's follower. "I don't want to be a follower for the time being. Also, you don't have the right to bargain," Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Hearing this, River of Forgetfulness felt humiliated. He was an ancient freak, but he didn't even have the right to become a follower. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly, obviously a little impatient. The treasure vault of the demon sect of Samsara was very tempting, but Jun Xiaoyao didn't have to get it. It would be better if he got it. Even if he couldn't get it, he wouldn't lose a piece of flesh. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's impatience, River of Forgetfulness took a deep breath and knelt down on one knee in front of Jun Xiaoyao. In order to live, River of Forgetfulness could only accept. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao's face revealed a strange look. This ancient freak of the demon sect of Samsara was able to adapt to circumstances. The temperament of an ancient freak was indeed incomparable to that of the current generation's unruly prodigies. River of Forgetfulness opened the divine palace in his mind and let Jun Xiaoyao plant the slave seal. At this point, this ancient freak was completely under Jun Xiaoyao's control and became his slave. If the people of the immortal region knew about this, it would cause a huge commotion. Because the one Jun Xiaoyao enslaved was not a prodigy of the current generation, but an ancient freak like Princess Longji. Chapter 274. Princess Longji's reputation in the Huangtian mystic realm was already at its peak. Logically speaking, if Wang Chuan didn't meet Jun Xiaoyao and went to the mystic realm safely, his reputation shouldn't be much lower than Princess Longji's. And it was this ancient freak, who was similar to Princess Longji, who became Jun Xiaoyao's slave. This scene was a little dramatic. Brother Xiaoyao is too amazing. This is the first time I've seen something like this. Jiang Luoli's eyes lit up. Since ancient times, every time an ancient freak was born, he could definitely suppress the current generation of geniuses and even enslave a group of geniuses. And Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, enslaved an ancient freak. And it was very likely that Wang Chuan was just a starting point. In the future, Jun Xiaoyao would enslave and even kill other ancient freaks. For example, Princess Longji was a good target. Master. Wang Chuan lowered his head and saluted Jun Xiaoyao. He was still a little uncomfortable, but there was nothing he could do. He had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. Don't worry. I, the Son of God, won't humiliate you. As long as you can fulfill your promise, I will naturally release you. Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. He didn't have the habit of taking people as slaves. Definitely not. It was just that under some circumstances, he had to. It was definitely not because he liked to take in slaves. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, Wang Chuan was slightly relieved. He saluted and said, "Thank you, Master. But the appearance of the treasury requires an opportunity. When the time is right, I will do my best to find it." It was difficult for Wang Chuan to take the treasury of the demon sect of reincarnation alone. It wasn't that he could get the Jun family's protection if he gave it to them. When the time came, his slave seal could also be released. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. He planted the slave seal, so he wasn't afraid of Wang Chuan secretly doing anything. At this point, Jun Xiaoyao's goal of going to the lower realm was completely completed. Everything seemed so perfect. Jun Xiaoyao's gains were also far beyond his expectations. It was as if Jun Xiaoyao had only needed one tree, but in the end, he had obtained an entire forest. After cleaning up some loose ends in the lower realm, it's about time to return to the immortal domain, Jun Xiaoyao said. The 10 sinner clans had been completely destroyed, but there was still some work to be done. Dao brother Xiaoyao, Qing Yi will take her leave first. I believe that not long after, we will be able to see Dao brother Xiaoyao display his might in the immortal realms. Ji Qing Yi bid farewell and left by herself. She was like a lotus in a pond, aloof from the world. Although Jun Xiaoyao's performance made her heart tremble a little, she was still calm overall. In this era of great strife, Jun Xiaoyao might be a bright new star, but he was definitely not the only one. As the saintess of the human immortal sect, she knew some secret. In the future, if there was a chance, immortal ancient would appear in this world. All sorts of ancient freaks, the remains of the great emperors, and the young sons of the ancient emperors would appear. At that time, would Jun Xiaoyao still be able to maintain his current transcendent and invincible appearance? It was hard to say. Thus, Ji Qing Yi's heart wasn't too shaken. The one who had the last laugh would be the victor. Now, the era of great strife had only just begun. Looking at Ji Qing Yi's departing figure, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. He had a feeling that Ji Qing Yi seemed to know some secrets, and her attitude towards him had changed. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't think too much about it. Jun Xiaoyao didn't have any feelings towards the saintess of the human immortal sect, the saintess of the Ji family. His relationship with Ji Qingyi was also difficult to categorize. Although they were friends, they were far from that level. They weren't enemies. It was only because of Ji Xian that he had some enmity with the Ji family. However, Ji Qingyi didn't directly display any hostility towards him. Since Ji Qingyi didn't take the initiative to target him, Jun Xiaoyao naturally couldn't be bothered to pick a fight. Xiao Maxian didn't leave. She looked at River of Forgetfulness and sighed inwardly. She originally wanted to recruit River of Forgetfulness and have her join the demon immortal cult. Then, she would think of a way to take back the Samsara demon sect's treasury. But now, it seemed that this was impossible. It was impossible for Xiao Maxian to offend Jun Xiaoyao for River of Forgetfulness. Let's go. Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeves. Jiang Luoli, Yu, Yan Qingying, and River of Forgetfulness all followed him. Xiao Maxian's eyes darted around. She also followed behind Jun Xiaoyao. Why are you following us? Jiang Luoli's large eyes were filled with vigilance, like a little hen protecting her food. Aya, don't be so vigilant. As the saying goes, no discord, no concord. Aren't we friends now? Xiao Maxian blinked her eyes, innocently speaking. Who's your friend? We're not close at all. Jiang Luoli said, annoyed. Was she trying to get close to them? Yu and Yan Qingying were also left speechless. Just now, they had been fighting back and forth with Xiao Maxian. But now, Xiao Maxian's attitude had undergone a 360-degree change. However, they also knew that this change was all because of Jun Xiaoyao. This was an existence that could even casually suppress an ancient freak. Xiao Maxian naturally didn't want to be enemies with Jun Xiaoyao and the others. I only saw little big brother Xiaoyao open up his own road, so I wanted to explore the Great Tao together. Xiao Maxian pitifully said. Is that so? Jiang Luoli's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. Of course. I want to know little big brother Xiaoyao's strengths and weaknesses as well as let him know my depth. Xiao Maxian earnestly said. Jun Xiaoyao's complexion was a bit strange as he heard this. Was he wearing tinted glasses? Why did he feel this was a bit dirty? However, Jun Xiaoyao still replied, There's no need. You can't imagine my strengths and weaknesses. As for your depth, I can tell from your height. Jun Xiaoyao's words left Xiao Maxian stunned for a moment. Her cheeks flushed red. She thought that her words already contained a great deal of meaning. But in the end, she had encountered a great master. Xiao Maxian glanced at Jun Xiaoyao, her face full of anger. Words are no proof. Little big brother Xiaoyao, if you don't try, how will you know my depths? No need. I'm afraid that if I step into your stomach, it will hit your lungs. At that time, the demon celestial cult will come looking for trouble with me. Jun Xiaoyao lightly said. Hearing this strange conversation, Jiang Luoli's large eyes revealed a dazed look, her expression adorable. Xiao Maxian's face was as red as blood. She had always been the one to tease and tease others. But now, instead of teasing them, she was the one being teased. Is there anything else you want to say? Jun Xiaoyao asked. No, little big brother Xiaoyao, you're too naughty. Xiao Maxian was a bit embarrassed. Her face was red as she stammered. She was really afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would take her words seriously on a whim and then do something indescribable to her. The kidney of the sacred body of the ancients was very famous. It could be called a treasure and could last for a long time. If she was really damaged by Jun Xiaoyao, the big shots of the demon celestial cult and the demon celestial castle would definitely come looking for the Jun family. Seeing that Xiao Maxian was speechless, Jiang Luoli felt a burst of joy in her heart. However, she still turned her small head and asked Jun Xiaoyao with great curiosity, Big brother Xiaoyao, what does step into your stomach mean? Seeing Jiang Luoli's curious appearance, Jun Xiaoyao dryly coughed. Children shouldn't ask. This is something that only adults know. Tisk, forget it if you don't want to say it. Luoli will figure it out herself. Jiang Luoli pouted. Looking at Jiang Luoli's short head that had never grown taller, Jun Xiaoyao felt that Jiang Luoli would understand the meaning of this word sooner or later. Amidst such casual banter, Jun Xiaoyao and the others also left the crack of the 10 realms. At the same time, explosive news spread in the Huangtian mystic realm. Jun Lingsong, the Polychoria of the Jun family, was going to fight Princess Longji of Zulong. At Dao-Seeking Mountain, the top geniuses were going to fight for supremacy. Before Jun Xiaoyao returned to the mystic realm, Jun Lingsong, the sequence number 1 of the Jun family, stood up and fought for the honor of the Jun family. What would be the outcome of this battle? Would the Polychoria be undefeated at the peak? Or would the ancient freak suppress the current generation? Many people were looking forward to it. For a time, all the geniuses and forces of the 4 sides began to move in the direction of Dao-Seeking Mountain. This was going to be a rare big battle, and it was going to be the prelude to the Battle of the Geniuses. Chapter 275. Following the battle between Jun Lingsong and Princess Longji, the Huangtian immortal realm was in turmoil. The lower worlds, on the other hand, had fallen into silence. The upheaval of the 10 worlds had finally come to an end. Almost all of the spiritual qi of the 10 continents had been absorbed by the rift between the 10 worlds. Therefore, the spiritual qi of each continent was extremely scarce, as if an age of decline had arrived. In addition to the chaos caused by the 10 sinners and the chaos caused by the 10 heaven-defying children, the entire 10 worlds were in shambles and countless living beings had fallen. However, none of this had anything to do with Jun Xiaoyao. At least for now, he wasn't a saint who cared about the world. Jun Xiaoyao and the others left the rift between the 10 worlds. They found the entrance point and returned the way they came. Myriad continent deep in the outer seas. The originally calm surface of the sea exploded with a loud boom. Pieces of various sea beasts' corpses exploded in all directions, and blood dyed the surface of the sea red. 5 figures emerged from the depths of the sea. They were Jun Xiaoyao, Jiang Luoli, Yu, Yan Qingying, and Xiao Maxian. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao showed up, Yi Zichen was shocked. Forefather Dongxian and the others appeared. Congratulations, young master, on returning with a rewarding journey. Forefather Dongxian, Gu Yuan, and the others cupped their fists at Jun Xiaoyao. They had been guarding the outer seas all this time, waiting for Jun Xiaoyao's return. At this moment, the gazes of Forefather Dongxian and the others unconsciously fell on Jun Xiaoyao. Their gazes suddenly focused, deep surprise in their eyes. They actually felt a faint threat from Jun Xiaoyao. How is this possible? Forefather Dongxian and Gu Yuan looked at each other, seeing the surprise in each other's eyes. After all, they were saints. They could also sense that Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation had reached the Ascension realm and become a noble. However, even a celestial Ascension Marquis couldn't pose a threat to a saint. It seems that young master has obtained an unimaginable fortuitous encounter in the rift between the 10 worlds. Forefather Dongxian was speechless. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed worthy of being called the most highly regarded genius of the Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao's rate of growth was too frightening. Previously, in their eyes, Jun Xiaoyao was just a very powerful genius of the younger generation. Now, old ancestor Dongxian could even feel that it wouldn't be long before Jun Xiaoyao overtook them. Thank you for your hard work. Let's go back to the ancient god clan, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Old ancestor Dongxian and the others nodded. Naturally, they could not ask Jun Xiaoyao what fortuitous encounter he had obtained. After all, they were servants. At the same time, at another entrance of the 10 worlds rift, a middle-aged man in golden armor felt his heart sink. He was a general of the Panwu Jin dynasty. On the surface, he was Yang Pan's Dao protector. But behind the scenes, they were the people of God Lord Panwu. In the lower realm, God Lord Panwu had specifically instructed him to keep a close eye on Yang Pan. With Yang Pan's fortune, he was the one who had the highest chance of collecting all the Pan Huang sword. Perhaps he could collect the other 2 swords in the lower realm. And in the lower realm, Yang Pan's fortune was indeed very good. He had obtained many fortuitous encounters, leaving this general somewhat speechless. Yang Pan was simply the darling of fortune. In the end, Yang Pan had entered the 10 Worlds Rift, but due to the limitations of his cultivation, this general could not enter. Now, a few geniuses had already come out, and the 10 Worlds Rift was about to close once more. But Yang Pan had not appeared. The general slightly raised his hand and looked at the shattered life tablet. It looks like he really did die. But Yang Pan's death is secondary. The Pan Huang life sword also fell within. Damn it! The general's expression was incomparably gloomy. This trip was simply a double loss after trying to lure the bride. God Lord Panwu probably already knew of Yang Pan's death. Only the heavens knew how furious he would be. Let's go back and report the news first. The general sighed and turned to leave. On the other end, Jun Xiaoyao and the others returned to the ancient god clan. The royal lords of Dayan of the Dayan dynasty were also present. Jun Xiaoyao did not say anything, directly taking out the light and shadow stone. It recorded that Fang Han had joined forces with Yang Pan and the others to capture Jiang Luoli and threaten Jun Xiaoyao. After the Dayan dynasty saw it, they were all shocked. The royal lords of Dayan could not help but stomp their feet, exasperated. This unfilial son, he became arrogant after a few fortuitous encounters. To think that he would do such a disgraceful thing. It is my fault for not teaching him well. Young master, please punish me. The royal lords of Dayan directly knelt before Jun Xiaoyao. In their hearts, they cursed Fang Han countless times. Previously, Fang Han was just a foolish prince, not valued by the royal lords of Dayan. It was only after he had a fortuitous encounter and matured that the royal lords of Dayan started to value him. However, the royal lords of Dayan did not expect Fang Han to be so bold as to attack Jun Xiaoyao. One had to know that if they angered Jun Xiaoyao, the entire Dayan dynasty could be destroyed. Moreover, they could not complain at all. This unfilial son has done us in. The royal lords of Dayan cursed angrily in their hearts. They could not wait to drag Fang Han out and whip his corpse 100 times. I didn't expect Fang Han to be such a person. I was wrong about him, Jun Inger said. To think that she was soft-hearted and helped Fang Han so much. In the end, Fang Han was so ambitious that he dared to plot against Jun Xiaoyao. Young master, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Jun Inger looked guilty and wanted to apologize. It has nothing to do with you. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head lightly. If I may be so bold, I hope that you can forgive the Royal Highness and the others. They are all devoted to the Jun family. Jun Inger bit her lip and bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. She had been in the lower worlds for so many years, and the royal lords of Dayan and the others had taken good care of her. Jun Inger also did not want the Dayan dynasty to be implicated by Fang Han. Do I look so cruel? How could I take my anger out on you just because of one person's mistake? Jun Xiaoyao smiled and shook his head. Su Ziqiang and the others heard this and could not help but curse. How many clans had Jun Xiaoyao destroyed? Thank you for your kindness, young master. The entire Dayan dynasty is grateful. The royal lords of Dayan thanked him. Jun Inger also smiled sweetly. She could not help but look at him with longing and admiration. Not only was Jun Xiaoyao powerful, but he was also very handsome. His character, temperament, and even so, he was so gentle and tolerant towards her. Jun Inger felt her heart melt. She was immersed in Jun Xiaoyao's charm. TSK, little brother Xiaoyao is really generous. Xiao Maxian sighed from the side. You talk too much. Speaking of which, who told you to follow me? Jiang Luoli puffed out her cheeks, a little unhappy. My legs are on my body. I can go wherever I want. Xiao Maxian giggled. The two Lolas quarreled again. Jun Xiaoyao said, Inger, follow me back to the celestial realm. As for the lower worlds, I'll leave it to the royal lords of Dayan and the ancient god Patriarch. Yes, we will take care of it, the royal lords of Dayan and the ancient god Patriarch replied. After finishing, they could return to the celestial realm if they wished. If not, they would leave a group of people to guard the lower worlds. The matter of the lower worlds has finally been settled. I wonder what happened in the celestial realm during my absence. And that Xiao Chen, it's time to kill him. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled up slightly. Xiao Chen had completely lost his value. In order to prevent him from playing any dirty tricks behind his back, Jun Xiaoyao should send him on his way. As for Princess Longji, Jun Xiaoyao was considering. Should he let her transform into her true form and eat her? Or ride her and use her as a mount? Chapter 276. After a few days of reorganization, Jun Xiaoyao left the Myriad Continent with a group of people. Before returning to the Immortal Realm, Jun Xiaoyao still had to make a trip to the Profound Sky Continent. He didn't forget to bring Nalan Ruashi back to the Immortal Realm. In addition, he had to give the star-splitting divine puppet to the Nalan family. Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't be able to use the star-splitting divine puppet after returning to the Immortal Realm, so he might as well leave it in the lower realms. After Xiao Moxian learned that Jun Xiaoyao was going to the Profound Sky Continent, she finally left alone. However, before leaving, she said that she would meet Jun Xiaoyao in the Immortal Realm. At that time, they would compare their strength. Jun Xiaoyao simply ignored this mischievous, pure, and charming Xiao Moxian, who was even a little dirty. He didn't need to provoke the demonic celestial cult for nothing. A few days later, Jun Xiaoyao arrived at the Profound Sky Continent and went straight to the ancient Spirit Mountain where the Nalan family was. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao arrive, Nalan Ruashi was overjoyed. She stepped forward and bowed. How many is this already? Jiang Luoli was jealous. Yan Qingying, Jun Ying Nalan Ruashi. They all liked Jun Xiaoyao very much, and their eyes were full of worship and admiration. Jun Xiaoyao was also helpless. He didn't deliberately flirt with any of the girls, and he was too lazy to do such a thing. If there was someone to blame, it was this damn charm. Oh right, before returning to the Immortal Realm, I'll help you flatten the immemorial God Mountain, Jun Xiaoyao said casually. Previously, he wanted to let the humans of the Profound Sky Continent solve it themselves. But after seeing the immemorial God Mountain of the Myriad Continent, Jun Xiaoyao was extremely disgusted with it. In addition, his strength had greatly increased and he needed a whetstone, so he directly made a decision. This, of course, it couldn't be better. Nalan Zhan was also stunned. Why did it feel like destroying the immemorial God Mountain was as casual as eating and drinking in Jun Xiaoyao's mouth? In the next few days, Jun Xiaoyao led a group of humans to the primordial God Mountain. With the 6 star-sundering divine puppets, old ancestor Dongxian, and the others, Jun Xiaoyao's strength had increased greatly, and he also had the coiling Emperor sword to protect him. There was no suspense in this battle. In just a few hours, the battle was over, and the entire divine mountain was flattened. The hidden danger of the Tianxian land was completely solved. Jun Xiaoyao's battle prowess had also shocked everyone. As the sky-piercing marquis, not only could it deal with Divine Flame Realm experts, but it could also deal with Divine Flame Realm experts. Jun Xiaoyao could even deal with those who had reached level 9 of the Sage Realm and reached the Empty God Realm. This was simply heaven-defying and unimaginable. Jun Xiaoyao's strength had gradually begun to break away from his peers and was moving towards the older generation. After dealing with the primordial divine mountain, Jun Xiaoyao led the group back to the Huangtian mystic realm. One could imagine that if Jun Xiaoyao, who had opened up his own path, returned to the mystic realm, the shock that would be caused would be terrifying. The geniuses of the Huangtian mystic realm had no idea that a genius of the younger generation would return to the mystic realm and start his path to becoming a king. Huangtian mystic realm, Dao-Seeking Mountain. Dao-Seeking Mountain was located in Gudao State, one of the 3,000 mystical states in the Huangtian mystic realm. Tao-seeking mountain was a rather famous place of opportunity. Rumor had it that an ancient divine lord had sought Tao here and then reached the supremacy realm. To this day, Tao-seeking mountain was still filled with a thick Tao rhyme. It was a blessed place for many geniuses to comprehend the Tao. Today, the entire Tao-seeking mountain was unprecedentedly lively. Forces from all over the world had gathered. As far as the eye could see, there was a black mass of heads. Although Tao-seeking mountain was quite popular, it was impossible for it to be so popular. The only reason was naturally the battle between the sequence number 1 of the Jun family, Jun Lingsong, and the ancient freak of Zulong, Princess Longji. Princess Longji's reputation went without saying. Being an ancient freak was a taboo in itself. It represented the pinnacle of geniuses. Not to mention, she also had the bloodline of the ancient emperor of the Tsang dragon. Although she was not a descendant within 3 generations, her bloodline was already extremely noble. To a certain extent, Princess Longji was almost comparable to the descendants of the great emperors and the ancient emperors. Her opponent, Jun Lingsong, was not a weakling either. Although Jun Xiaoyao had stolen the limelight of the younger generation of the Jun family. However, this did not mean that Jun Lingsong was weak. Before Jun Xiaoyao showed his talent, Jun Lingsong had always been the leader of the younger generation of the Jun family. Coupled with his polychoria, he was naturally one of the top young supremes in the mystic realm. He had fought with Princess Longji before, but there was no clear winner. However, at that time, Princess Longji was not at her peak. Jun Lingsong also did not use his polychoria. Now, the two of them could finally have a real battle. At this moment, the Tao-seeking mountain was filled with people from all races. In the distance, a group of people stood on a flying boat. It's the people from the Holy Spirit College. They're here. Seeing this group of people, someone exclaimed in surprise. Generally speaking, the Holy Spirit College did not participate in any fights between factions, nor did they go around to watch a show. However, this time, the Holy Spirit College had actually appeared. This meant that it was not ordinary. This is normal. Don't forget that Jun Xiaoyao has another identity. He is the son of the Holy Spirit College, someone said. The Grand Elder of the Holy Spirit College, as well as the Saintess Hua Shiqing and the others, had all arrived. Although Jun Xiaoyao did not come this time. However, the Holy Spirit College already had a deep relationship with the Jun family. On the surface, this battle was between Jun Lingsong and Princess Longji. In fact, it was a game between the Jun family of the ancients and the Archean royalty. The Holy Spirit College naturally could not miss it. Then, another ship flew over. On the deck of the ship stood a noblewoman in a silk dress. She had picturesque features and smooth skin. It was the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty, Wu Mingyue. The Jin dynasty of the Panwu dynasty is also here. How rare. Then, another flying boat flew over, carrying a group of people. The leader was a woman in a snow-white dress who looked like a fairy descending to the mortal world. Her hair and clothes fluttered in the wind. She seemed to be in harmony with the Tao. She was extremely transcendent, elegant, and refined. It was the goddess of the Jiang family, Jiang Shengyi. No one was surprised by the arrival of the Jiang family, because the Jiang family and the Jun family wore the same pant. The Jiang family naturally could not be absent from the battle that concerned the honor of the Jun family. Xiaoyao, Luoli, I wonder how you two are doing in the lower worlds. Jiang Shengyi sighed in her heart. She knew that with Jun Xiaoyao's strength, nothing could go wrong. But she was still worried. Although Jiang Luoli sneaked into the lower worlds, Jiang Shengyi knew very well. She did not stop or follow, because she wanted to create conditions for Jiang Luoli and Jun Xiaoyao. That's right. Maybe this is good. Jiang Shengyi smiled slightly, but there was a hint of bitterness that she did not want to notice. Jiang Shengyi did not know when it started, but she realized that her feelings toward Jun Xiaoyao were a bit strange. In the beginning, Jiang Xingyi only attributed it to her innate Taoist embryo, which had some strange resonance with Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancients. But as time passed, Jiang Xingyi felt more and more that she could not lie to herself. So, she would rather nip this hazy feeling in the bud. It was good to pretend that nothing happened. Chapter 277. Time passed bit by bit, and more forces arrived. Except for those who were on the Jun family's side. Finally, someone from the Archean royalty arrived as well. With a few phoenix cries, a group of elders from the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain arrived. There were some familiar faces among them. Huang Xuanyi, Feng Qingling. They had all appeared at the banquet of the Jin dynasty in Panwu. Unfortunately, they were all taught a lesson by Jun Xiaoyao. Then, purple qi came from the east and spread all over the place. A group of creatures appeared. That's the ancient Qilin cave. They're here too. Some human cultivators whispered. First, it was Zulong, then the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, and now there were creatures from the ancient Qilin cave. The Archean royalty had appeared one after another. Perhaps it meant that a great era was about to begin. There were not many creatures from the ancient Qilin cave. They were mostly there to watch the show. Rumor has it that the sequence number 1 of the Jun family once performed an incomplete version of the Qilin's grand magic. I'm really curious. Some young creatures from the ancient Qilin cave sneered. Although the ancient Qilin cave never spread the Qilin's grand magic. However, it was inevitable that some ancient lands in the outside world might have the Qilin's inheritance from ancient times, and they couldn't stop it. If the geniuses of other ordinary forces obtained the Qilin's grand magic, they would have been destroyed by the ancient Qilin cave. However, because it was the sequence number 1 of the Jun family who obtained it, the ancient Qilin cave couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't do anything to Junlingsong. Then, a black mist filled the sky in the distance. It was ominous and made people feel a gloomy aura. That's the palace of the fallen god. In the black mist, there was a mountain of white bones floating. Some black-robed figures were sitting cross-legged on it. The palace of the fallen god was also a famous force in the Huangtian mystic realm. Originally, they were very fierce. However, what happened recently made the palace of the fallen god lose face. The top genius of the palace of the fallen, the son of God, died in the lower world because of Jun Xiaoyao. The palace of the fallen god couldn't get angry. They were suppressed by the Jun family. This time, the palace of the fallen god came in person. They wanted to see the Jun family's humiliation. Then, the various clan of the ancients arrived as well. The Yi family of the ancients, the Ji family of the ancients, and the Wang family of the north. The arrival of these remote antiquity families, Archean royalty, and immortal forces silenced everyone. Clearly, the impact of this battle would be very far-reaching. Just as everyone was waiting anxiously. Finally, the main character arrived. In the distance, golden light filled the air. A dazzling dragon palace appeared. Like an ancient celestial palace, it covered the heavens with majestic power. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. They knew this was Princess Longji's bedroom. In addition, there were also experts from Zulong who had come with them. Long Bichi was also among the crowd to witness the battle. On the other side, purple qi surged. A handsome young man arrived on a Qilin beast. His eyes were covered with black strips of cloth with sealing runes on them, making him look profound and mysterious. His aura was extremely powerful, shockingly reaching the heavenly connection marquee realm. It was Junlingsong. The man with polychoria is here. He has reached the heavenly connection realm as well. He was in the nirvana realm before, and now he has reached the heavenly connection realm. The man with polychoria deserves his reputation. Princess Longji has reached the great completion of the heavenly connection realm a long time ago. I think she can still suppress the man with polychoria. With the arrival of the main character, countless discussions were heard from all directions. This time, Junlingsong was not the only one from the Jun family who had come. Many elders of the Jun family had come, including Jun Zhantian. Many sequences of the younger generation had come. Jun Zhanjian, Jun Xuehuang, and Jun Wanjie were all there, as well as Jun Daolin and Jun Xiu, who were standing on Jun Lingsong's side. Jun Linglong also came with them. However, among the young people of the Jun family, there were two figures who were quite eye-catching. One of them was a young man wearing a dragon crown and golden armor. He looked handsome and mighty, and his aura was extraordinary. That's Jun Wushuang, the second sequence of the Jun family. It's said that he once received the inheritance of a powerful ancient expert. His strength is also outstanding among the younger generation. Some people could not help but exclaim when they saw the young man in golden armor. The 10 sequences of the Jun family were all outstanding talents and extraordinary opportunities. The second sequence of the Jun family was ranked very high, just below Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Lingsong. The other person was a woman with a hot body. Her red hair was tied into a single ponytail, and her charming face carried a hint of heroism. She was valiant and heroic, and she had the temperament of a tomboy. The most eye-catching thing about her was her body. It was too hot, with curves that could be described as devilish. She was wearing a tight-fitting outfit that revealed her flat, snow-white belly. She had a unique temperament that was both heroic and charming. That's Jun Mulan, the third sequence of the Jun family. It's said that she has the blood of the god of war. Although she's a woman, she has a hot temper and violent means. Looking at the woman named Jun Mulan, some of the geniuses shrank back. In the Huangtian mystic realm, many geniuses had been beaten up by Jun Mulan. The most infuriating thing was that it did not matter if they had offended Jun Mulan or not. As long as she was in a bad mood, she would beat people up. She was like a barbaric tomboy. Haha, this battle is going to be interesting. Jun Wushuang put one hand behind his back and smiled faintly. Previously, the sequence of the Jun family was divided into 3 groups. One group was led by Jun Lingsong. One group was led by Jun Xiaoyao. The other group was led by Jun Wushuang, Jun Mulan, and the others. They did not take any side. Their attitudes were unclear, and they did not interfere with either side. But now, because of this battle, they had also shown up. This battle concerns the honor of the Jun family. If Jun Lingsong really wins, I'm afraid that the 10 sequences of the Jun family will submit to him and take him as their leader, Jun Mulan said with her arms crossed in front of her chest. Then do you think that Jun Lingsong can win this time? Jun Wushuang asked. As the eternal second place, Jun Wushuang knew Jun Lingsong's strength best. It'll be difficult, Jun Mulan said after thinking for a moment. Even a hot-tempered tomboy like her said it would be difficult. It was obvious that she did not think that Jun Lingsong could really defeat Princess Longji. Then, if it was Jun Xiaoyao, Sequence 0, would he be able to defeat Princess Longji? Jun Wushuang continued to ask. Jun Mulan pondered and shook her head. I don't know. He's still too young. In the sequence of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao was the youngest. It was true to say that he was young. No matter what, whoever can defeat Princess Longji will be the true leader of the sequence of the 10, Jun Wushuang said. Then let's wait and see. Jun Mulan raised her handsome eyebrows. At this moment, a cold and aloof voice came from the Golden Dragon Palace. First sequence of the Jun family, are you ready to accept your defeat? As the voice came out, a golden path extended from the Golden Dragon Palace's gate. A beautiful figure, like a queen, coldly and domineeringly descended upon the mortal world. Chapter 278. Princess Longji was the first ancient freak to be born in the Huangtian mystic realm. If it weren't for Shaoqin, Princess Longji would have been sealed for a while longer before breaking out. Now that Princess Longji had broken out early, it meant that she had the upper hand. In this era, only by seizing the opportunity and seizing the fate of heaven and earth could one win. This was why after Princess Longji came out of isolation, she fought for the world with such ferocity. In this era of great battles, some of the top geniuses could seize the fate of heaven and earth. Like Shao Chun and Yang Pan, they could only seize the fate of their countries. Shao Chun was the son of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. Yang Pan was the son of the Panwu Jin dynasty. But how could the fate of one country compare to that of the entire mystic realm? As for Li Daoxian, Lin Feng, Fang Han, Qin Hao, and the others from the lower worlds, they were only the sons of their own continent. The fate of a single continent could not compare to the fate of the entire Huangtian mystic realm. It was because she wanted to seize the fate of the mystic realm that Princess Longji was so powerful. At this moment, Princess Longji finally appeared on the golden path. She wore a palace dress and had a celestial air about her. Her silky hair flowed in the wind. In her laziness, there was a hint of arrogance and charm. Two jade-like dragon horns poked out from her hair, indicating her noble bloodline and status. She had a great figure. She was very tall and her proportions were perfect. Her breasts were high, her waist was slim, and her legs were as white as jade. She was shockingly long. Her feet were bare. She wasn't wearing any shoes or socks. Every toe was white and smooth like delicate jade carvings. It made people want to lick them. This was because Princess Longji's feet never touched the ground, nor did they get dirty. Therefore, she had no need to wear any shoes or socks. From this detail, one could see how noble and arrogant Princess Longji was. She was the queen of the dragons. With Princess Longji's appearance, many male creatures held their breaths and took a deep breath. She was too beautiful. Princess Longji was powerful, beautiful, and confident. She was definitely a goddess. This kind of woman was also the one who could arouse a man's desire to conquer. If he could conquer such a peerless beauty, the satisfaction and accomplishment he would feel would be unimaginable. However, the male sky prides present could only dream about it. Princess Longji's identity, background and status aside for now. His strength alone was enough for him to stand at the peak of the younger generation. It was almost impossible to subdue such a queen. Is the son of God from the Jun family too afraid to face me? Princess Longji's voice was cold and arrogant. This was not an act, but an innate sense of superiority. Cousin Xiaoyao is in the lower realm dealing with other matters. I should be enough to deal with you. Jun Lingsong stood with his hands behind his back, his tone indifferent. Although his eyes were covered by a black cloth, his aura was still profound and transcendent. These words caused many people to be speechless. TSK. No wonder he's the sequence number 1 of the Jun family. His bearing is not something that ordinary geniuses can compare to. Yeah. To be able to speak in such a tone in front of an ancient freak, he truly deserves the title of the man of Polychoria. Jun Lingsong's words were indifferent, but there was a hint of arrogance in them. Many people's eyes lit up. Some female cultivators' eyes were even shining. Jun Xiaoyao was the most popular and the most attractive to women. However, in front of the world, he was still too cold. He was like a god who could be looked at but could not be touched. Jun Lingsong, on the other hand, was slightly more approachable. His aggressive attitude was also quite eye-catching. Without realizing it, Jun Lingsong had also attracted a wave of fans. It seems that you are still too ignorant. You can't guess what I am capable of. Princess Longji's face was shrouded in mist and her voice was indifferent. Not far behind her, there was a young man. It was Shao Chun. Damn it. Jun Xiaoyao is still not coming. If he doesn't show up, I'll have to use other methods. Shao Chun's eyes flickered. Many schemes and tricks appeared in his mind. Right now, he was nowhere near as strong as Jun Xiaoyao in terms of combat prowess alone. Therefore, he could only resort to schemes. On the other side, the battle had finally begun. Jun Lingsong attacked immediately. He wanted to gain the upper hand. He slapped out with one hand. Suddenly, purple qi surged. It was as if the purple qi had come from the east for 3,000 miles. It was mighty and powerful, charging towards Princess Longji. It is indeed an incomplete Qilin art. Seeing Jun Lingsong use this move, the creatures of the ancient Qilin cave whispered. They looked unfriendly. This was because this was a technique that belonged to the ancient Qilin cave. However, Jun Lingsong had obtained it in another ancient forbidden area. If Jun Lingsong had a deeper understanding of it, he might have developed a countermeasure that would be disadvantageous to the ancient Qilin cave. However, they could not do anything to Jun Lingsong now. They could not threaten him. Seeing Jun Lingsong attack, Princess Longji's beautiful face, which was shrouded in mist, was very calm. If you're still as strong as you were last time, then this time, there will be no suspense at all. Princess Longji attacked as well. She unleashed the power of the great completion of the reaching heaven state. This shocked everyone. The great completion of the reaching heaven state. This should be the highest level of cultivation among the younger generation in the modern world, right? Many of the older generation exclaimed. The reaching heaven state was called a noble, because when one reached this level, one could reach the sky with a single thought. They could make a land grant and become a noble. Usually, one would only be able to reach this level when they were almost middle-aged. But Princess Longji had already reached this level. This was really shocking. Of course, this was because she had to eliminate those ancient freaks who had not yet been born, as well as the descendants of the great emperors and the youngest sons of the ancient emperors. Those talents who were still in seclusion had unimaginable potential and strength. Princess Longji reached out her hand. A dragon claw appeared in the air. This was an evolution of the dragon race's supernatural power. It was called the anti-dragon hand. When the claw reached out, it caused the air to tremble. It was like a wave of water. The laws of space in the immortal realm were firm. Even the reaching heaven nobles could not tear the air apart easily. But just the trembling of the air was enough to prove the power of Princess Longji's attack. Jun Lingsong had also reached the reaching heaven state, but he was still in the middle stage. After all, he was the current generation's prodigy. Unlike Princess Longji, who was a sleeping ancient freak, to use an inappropriate analogy, the current generation's prodigy was like a newbie player. And an ancient freak like Princess Longji was an experienced player. There was a difference in experience and strength. Rumble. The two's attacks collided, causing a huge tremor. Jun Lingsong was at a disadvantage in terms of cultivation level. But he had a strong foundation, so he was not at a disadvantage. Jun Lingsong's attack changed. Purple qi gathered and turned into a qilin. It leaped into the air, as if it was trampling the clouds in the sky. It came down on Princess Longji. Princess Longji's hand moved. She attacked with the golden dragon seal. Endless dragon qi filled the air. Boom! Purple qi and golden dragon qi exploded at the same time. The tremors were shocking. Jun Lingsong frowned. He felt pressured. Princess Longji, who had come out of seclusion, was indeed much stronger than before. Without hesitation, he used the Qilin's supernatural power. Purple qi surged, vast and turbulent. Hundreds of Qilin shadows appeared beside him. Like thousands of horses galloping, they charged towards Princess Longji. This was an ultimate attack. It was enough to crush all the prodigies. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 279. One had to admit that Jun Lingsong was very talented and had a high level of understanding. What he received was an incomplete version of the Qilin's grand technique. But after studying it for a long time, he had learned a lot and had evolved into many different forms. Even the creatures of the ancient Qilin cave were stunned by the sight. Thank goodness he didn't receive the complete version. Otherwise, his understanding of the Qilin's grand technique would be comparable to the Qilin's sun, sighed one of the creatures of the ancient Qilin cave. The Qilin's sun he was referring to was not an adjective. He was referring to a peerless genius of the ancient Qilin cave called the Qilin's sun. Of course, the Qilin's sun was also in seclusion and had yet to come out. If he came out, he would cause another storm. His status was comparable to that of Zulong's Long Outian. Seeing Jun Lingsang perform a powerful technique, Princess Longji's beautiful eyes were also slightly surprised. Jun Lingsang was slightly more troublesome than she had imagined. Of course, only slightly. Princess Longji's hand appeared and a golden dragon's head appeared. The dragon head opened its mouth and let out a long roar. The roar shook the 9 heavens. The entire Wendao mountain range trembled and trembled. Rocks rolled down the mountain. Some of the weaker sky prides screamed in agony as they covered their ears. Their eardrums were ruptured and fresh blood flowed out of them. Princess Longji was performing a terrifying dragon clan technique, the dragon's roar of 1,000 mountains. Legend had it that a dragon's roar could destroy 1,000 mountains. This technique was derived from that. The terrifying sound wave directly shattered the hundreds of Qilin phantoms that were attacking him. Seeing this, Jun Lingsang activated his dermic powers and performed a defensive technique of the Jun family. The sound wave hit the defensive technique and was neutralized. Jun Lingsang used a mysterious footwork technique. With one step, he was like a Qilin leaping into the sky. In a flash, he was right above Princess Longji. He stepped down like an ancient Qilin's foot. This was another manifestation of the Qilin's grand technique, called the Qilin's foot. Princess Longji's hand formed a seal, revealing a jade white seal. This was another powerful technique, the Jade Dragon Seal. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions rang out. The Qilin foot and the Jade Dragon Seal collided, bursting out ripples. This kind of tit-for-tat showdown between the strong made people unable to take their eyes off of it. Jun Lingsang unleashed his immortal ascension state Dharma power. His entire body seemed to be on fire. He waved his hands in the air, and purple energy gathered to form a purple wheel. Jun Lingsang pushed with his palms as if he was pushing a millstone of life and death. How is this possible? That's the Qilin wheel of life and death. The eyes of the people from the ancient Qilin cave widened. The Qilin's wheel of life and death was one of the Qilin's profound divine abilities. Jun Lingsang had only grasped an incomplete version of the Qilin's great divine ability, yet he was able to execute this move. Sir Lingsang is indeed powerful. Jun Lingsang's followers, Jun Daolin, Jun Xiu, and the others all had excited expressions on their faces. As for Jun Wushuang and Jun Mulan, they were also speechless. Jun Lingsang is indeed powerful. Jun Wushuang shook her head. Nonsense. Otherwise, why would you be in second place all the time? Jun Mulan snorted. Jun Wushuang's face darkened. Jun Mulan was indeed a straightforward woman. She didn't even bother to be tactful with her words. Seeing Jun Lingsang's powerful move, Princess Longji's expression was calm. Her appearance had always been hidden in a seemingly illusory mist, causing others to be unable to see her expression. She seemed extremely mysterious and unfathomable. Princess Longji's jade-like hand slapped out, and she also executed the true dragon's great divine ability. Ancestral Dragon shatters the heavens. As Princess Longji executed this move, Dharma power surged in the air, and dragon chi filled the air. Vaguely, it seemed as if the shadow of an enormous ancestral dragon had appeared. When this illusory figure appeared, everyone felt a terrifying pressure. Some of the weaker cultivators couldn't help but kneel down on one knee, unable to withstand the terrifying pressure. Could that be the real ancestral dragon? Some of the older cultivators took a deep breath. Zulong was named after the ancestral dragon. This was an extremely terrifying creature. The real ancestral dragon was a supreme existence that even ordinary great emperors couldn't fight against. It ruled over the immortal region. Princess Longji is the ruler of the world. Some of the people in Zulong were extremely excited. They roared into the sky, very excited. They knew that this move could only be used by someone like Princess Longji, who had the blood of the ancestral dragon in her body. This was a mighty force that represented the blessing of the ancestral dragon in the unseen world. Although it was only a shadow, It seemed to have the power to destroy the heavens. Rumble. The ancestral dragon's shadow slowly extended its dragon claw. The claw seemed to split the sky in half. Its aura was extremely terrifying. Some of the elders of the June family couldn't help but clench their fists. They were ready to attack at any time. Of course, they weren't attacking Princess Longji. They were preparing to save June Lingsong at any time. Because compared to June Lingsong's life, the June family's reputation was secondary. The man with polychoria couldn't afford to lose. June Lingsong felt the terrifying aura coming at him. He was like a reef in the raging wave. He didn't move and stood straight. He pushed the Qilin wheel of life and death with his palms. It was like a millstone of life and death that could crush the heavens. Everywhere it passed, the void shook and the clouds collapsed. Boom! The collision of their moves was like a sudden clap of thunder. The sound echoed for 100,000 miles. In this extreme collision, June Lingsong was pushed back 100 steps. The blood in his chest churned and his body trembled. He tried to use a special method to dissolve the impact, but he was still slightly injured. It's over. The man with polychoria of the June family is at a disadvantage. As expected, the ancient freaks are undefeatable. Seeing this scene, many people sighed. Especially some of the young geniuses. In fact, they secretly hoped that June Lingsong could win. The reason was simple. They didn't want to see the ancient freak dominate. This era belonged to the geniuses of the current generation. What right did the ancient freak have to be above them? Princess Longji naturally wouldn't let go of this opportunity after losing the first move. She used several true dragon grand techniques, all of which contained the power of the ancestral dragon's shadow. Even someone as strong as June Lingsong was forced to retreat. In the end, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. June Zhantian and the other elders of the June family felt their hearts sink. With them around, June Lingsong's life wouldn't be in danger. However, if he lost, it would be a huge blow to the June family's reputation. Zulong wouldn't let go of this opportunity to ruthlessly ridicule the June family. Is it still not enough? June Wushuang, June Mulan, and the others frowned. Although the 10 sequences of the June family were competitors within the family. However, if they encountered an external enemy, they would naturally fight against them. Therefore, June Wushuang and the others didn't want June Lingsong to lose. At least, they didn't want him to lose so badly. It's over. Princess Longji's jade-like hand pressed down on June Lingsong. Her posture was extremely arrogant, as if she wanted to slap an ant to death. This made many of the young people of the June family so angry that their faces turned red. June Lingsong was the first sequence of the June family. How could he be defeated in such a humiliating way? June Lingsong's hair fluttered as he coughed up blood. However, his expression was as cold as ice. There was no change in his expression. The path of polychoria is unparalleled in history. You want me to lose? Wishful thinking. June Lingsong let out a long howl. His hair danced wildly. The black cloth covering his eyes burned with flames and turned into ashes inch by inch. 2 terrifying rays of light from his eyes tore the sky and earth apart, shaking the universe as if they had broken open the boundless world. Polychoria. Eye-opening. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 280. Polychoria was one of the most unparalleled talents in history. It was ranked in the top 30 among the 3,000 body type. It was extremely powerful. In ancient times there were people with polychoria. When they opened their eyes, the world would be clear. When they closed their eyes, the world would be dark. Although it was only a simple description, it was enough to prove how powerful and terrifying this gift from the heavens was. If a person with polychoria appeared in any era, they would definitely stand at the peak of that era and become the trendsetter of that era. Now, the black cloth that sealed June Lingsong's eyes was burning into ashes. A pair of eyes with a terrifying aura appeared. Just a ray of light from his eyes seemed to be able to split the world and shatter the universe. The aura was so strong that it was unbelievable. The June family's sequence number 1 has finally used his forbidden technique. Yeah, it's too terrifying. Just one look is enough to kill an ordinary genius. When they saw June Lingsong use his polychoria, the Tao-seeking mountain was in an uproar. Last time, June Lingsong didn't use this technique when he fought Princess Longji. Because at that time, June Lingsong's polychoria was still in the process of transformation. Now, June Lingsong could finally use it without any hesitation. This also meant that June Lingsong was giving his all to protect the June family's reputation. A terrifying aura appeared in June Lingsong's right eye. A black beam of light shot out like a burning hellfire, burning the void. Boom! This beam of light pierced through the ancestor dragon's shadow, causing it to collapse. This scene caused many people to suck in a deep breath. The moment the polychoria was unsealed, it displayed such terrifying strength. The cultivators who originally thought that June Lingsong would lose miserably were now hesitant. Princess Longji wasn't too surprised to see this. Very good. If you didn't use your polychoria, I would be disappointed. Let me see if your polychoria is worthy of its reputation. Princess Longji's words were cold and emotionless. She was confident and arrogant. Even when June Lingsong brought out his polychoria, she still faced him calmly. This made some people see Princess Longji in a different light. As expected of an ancient freak, there was simply no one else with such a temperament. Being overly arrogant is just stupidity. June Lingsong's eyes were cold as he attacked again. With the support of the polychoria, his magic power skyrocketed, and his attacks became even more ferocious. Most importantly, everyone realized that June Lingsong's speed seemed to have increased a lot. No, that's not right. It's not that June Lingsong has sped up. It's that Princess Longji has slowed down in his eyes. Some people exclaimed. Polychoria possessed all sorts of inconceivable abilities. One of the abilities was to slow down the opponent's speed and capture every weakness. This was extremely terrifying. It was like an eagle's eye, able to slow down and then detect any weakness of the enemy. Now, June Lingsong was using this ability. He attacked quickly. With one hand, he used the Kirin technique, and the other hand, he used his fingers as a sword. Sword chi filled the air as he used the June family's Sword of the Immortal Slayer. With these two powerful techniques and the support of his polychoria, June Lingsong immediately displayed his overwhelming power. Princess Longji was forced to take a few steps back. Your Highness! Over at Zulong's side, some people's expressions changed. On the other hand, Princess Longji's four subordinates, the Tsang Dragon General, the Red Dragon General, the Black Dragon General, and the White Dragon General, looked calm as if they were watching a show. The June family is too naive. They can't fathom Her Highness's abilities. That's right. Polychoria is not bad, but if he thinks he can defeat Her Highness, he's too naive. The four dragon generals communicated with each other through their spiritual will, all with disdain. As expected, Princess Longji began to fight back. Book of the Dragon Emperor, Sky-Splitting Thunder Dragon Strike. Princess Longji's hair danced in the wind as she used her most powerful technique. Her spiritual power surged, causing the air to tremble. Lightning flashed, and dragon chi burst forth, forming a terrifying dragon of thunder. It roared into the sky and tore through the sky. It's the Dragon Emperor's supreme technique. Feeling this terrifying power, many people cried out in alarm. Princess Longji had finally used one of her trump cards, the supreme technique, Book of the Dragon Emperor. The thunder dragon tore through the air, roaring into the 9 heavens. The surrounding area was filled with the power of thunder and lightning. June Lingsong huffed coldly. Dark light shot out from his right eye, shocking the world. The two of them attacked each other. In the blink of an eye, they had clashed hundreds of times. The shockwaves were so strong that it made people speechless. It didn't look like a battle between two noble Ascension Realm cultivators. It looked more like a battle between two saints. Everyone was watching anxiously. This battle had already reached its climax. Was the Jun family's polychoria invincible? Or was it Zulong's ancient freak? Boom. Another collision. Jun Lingsang took 2 steps back. His eyes were serious. Because even under his observation, Princess Longji's weaknesses were pitifully few. There were almost none. Book of the Dragon Emperor, Sky Burning Red Dragon Beam. Princess Longji changed her technique again. A red dragon appeared in the air, burning with flames that seemed to be able to burn down the sky. Jun Lingsang moved to block it, only to find that the surrounding flames seemed to have a mind of their own. In the end, they turned into a red furnace, trapping Jun Lingsang inside. The red flames burned the sky and destroyed the earth. With Jun Lingsang inside, one could imagine the danger he was in. Oh no! Jun Wushuang, Jun Mulan, and the others were shocked. This was Princess Longji's ultimate move. Jun Zhantian and the other elders were also nervous. Jun Lingsang wasn't from their bloodline, but he was still a member of the Jun family. They were bound together for good or ill. Jun Zhanjian, Jun Shuohuang, and the others didn't look too good either. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "How is that possible?" The Jun family looked toward the source of the sound. They found that Jun Lingsang's left eye in the furnace was flowing with white light. It turned into a shield that covered his body, preventing him from being burned by the red flames. The polychoria is indeed terrifying. The left eye is life and the right eye is death. When he opens and closes his eyes, life and death will flow. Some people exclaimed. Jun Lingsang was able to withstand Princess Longji's powerful suppression. He was already very outstanding in everyone's hearts. I, Jun Lingsang, will never admit defeat. Jun Lingsang roared, his eyes shocking. A ray of white light and a ray of black light shot out from his eyes. The life and death mysteries flowed and collided with each other. A shocking wave of energy exploded and shattered the furnace. Jun Lingsang threw caution to the wind and used the ultimate profundity of the dual pupils. When he opened and closed his eyes, he could live or die with a single thought. Even Princess Longji's expression froze. She had to admit that the polychoria mysteries were very difficult to deal with. They were harder to deal with than she thought. Dragon Emperor Codex, Immortal Golden Dragon Shield. Princess Longji revealed her ultimate defense technique. The golden dragon soared into the sky and turned into a golden dragon shield. Boom! The terrifying light of the polychoria mysteries landed on the shield, causing it to shake violently. Princess Longji took the opportunity to form a hand seal. A hairpin on her hair suddenly shot through the air. Halfway through, it turned into a black-gold sacred sword. It was Princess Longji's personal weapon, the black gold dragon patterned sacred sword. Black gold dragon patterned sacred gold was the same as the reincarnation Tao gold and the purple divine mark gold. They were all materials used to forge imperial weapons. Even Jun Xiaoyao's annihilation tyrant Saint King glove was only mixed with a little purple divine marked gold. The entire sword was made of black gold dragon patterned sacred gold. From this, it could be seen how powerful the sacred sword was. The sword swept through the universe. Even Jun Lingsang was caught off guard and was hit by the black gold dragon patterned sacred sword. Blood splattered across the sky. Jun Lingsang was sent flying. He had lost. At this moment, the various forces and countless living beings around the Tao-seeking mountain understood. The outcome had been decided. Chapter 281. Jun Lingsang retreated, blood splattering everywhere. It was a tragic sight. The black gold dragon sword was too powerful. It was as if there were shadows of true dragons coiling around it. This was Princess Longji's personal weapon, and also something left behind by the Emperor of Zulong. It was not at the level of an emperor weapon. However, it was definitely a top-tier supreme weapon, close to a boundary emperor weapon. Princess Longji had used it to severely injure Jun Lingsang. Despicable! Shameless! How can you call this an ancient freak? A young man from the Jun family roared. Jun Lingsong and Princess Longji fought with their abhijina. Princess Longji, on the other hand, had suddenly summoned her weapon. Anyone would be at a disadvantage right now. However, compared to the young men of the Jun family, the 10 sequences and the others were calmer. They only sighed deeply. There is no such thing as fairness in this world. Jun Wushuang sighed. Princess Longji was not only powerful, but also had a strong foundation. She had all kinds of supreme skills and supreme weapons. At this moment, a deep wound appeared on Jun Lingsong's chest. Blood flowed out. Jun Lingsong's face was cold. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. White light surged in his left eye. The wound on his body began to stop bleeding. You have lost. There is no doubt about it. Princess Longji's tone was indifferent. She ignored the curses and shouts of the young men of the Jun family. There was no such thing as fairness in this world. When the Emperor's road opened in the future, no one would care about a fair battle. The only thing that mattered was to seize the opportunity and survive. As an ancient freak, Princess Longji was not so naive. She had realized the truth long ago. I haven't lost yet, Jun Lingsong growled. He still had the ability to fight. He was not willing to give up just like that. The reason he was so persistent was mainly for the Jun family's reputation. Of course, there was another reason. Jun Lingsong knew that there was a gaze watching him from the depths of the void. Ajiu. Ajiu did not follow Jun Xiaoyao to the lower realm, so she should be hiding in the dark, observing the battle. Jun Lingsong was unwilling to be defeated by Ajiu. No need. There's no point in continuing. Princess Longji shook her head. She had already lost interest in fighting Jun Lingsong. The dual-pupiled man was very strong, and she had to use many methods to defeat him. But now, Jun Lingsong was still unable to completely threaten her. You! Jun Lingsong's eyes were cold. Enough, Lingsong. An elder from the Jun family sighed. They could also see that Jun Lingsong could continue fighting. But so what? It was indeed difficult for Jun Lingsong to defeat Princess Longji. At most, it would be a draw. However, Jun Lingsong might have to pay a heavy price. This was unacceptable to the Jun family. Because next, something big might happen in the immortal realm, and a great opportunity would appear. They did not want Jun Lingsong to be heavily injured. Hearing the elder's words, Jun Lingsong clenched his fists. His dual-pupiled eyes filled with unwillingness. Faintly, he seemed to hear a sigh coming from the void. It was Ajiu's sigh. This made Jun Lingsong even more uneasy. The dust of this battle had settled. Princess Longji won. Most people were not particularly surprised by this result. After all, Princess Longji had a lot of experience, and was a genius many eras ago. For Jun Lingsong to be able to fight with her to this extent was enough to prove his ability. He was worthy of being the first in the Jun family. Sigh. Jiang Xingyi sighed softly. The Jiang family naturally did not want to see the Jun family defeated. The Grand Elder of the Holy Spirit College and the others were also speechless. On the other hand, Zulong, Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, Qilin Ancient Cave, Fallen God Palace, and other forces began to get excited. Zulong is invincible. The Jun family is indeed useless. First in the sequence? It's nothing in front of Princess Longji. First in the sequence? Even if sequence 0, the son of God of the Jun family, came, it would be the same. That's right. Invincible son of God of the Jun family? I think it's all a bluff. Zulong and the other Archean royalty mocked and laughed wantonly. This made the expressions of the Jun family's sequence turn ugly. Jun Zhantian and the other elders' faces were as dark as the bottom of a pot. This battle was a huge blow to the Jun family's reputation. After all, the younger generation was the future. In this aspect, Zulong was ahead above the Jun family. This Princess Longji is so strong that even the man with polychoria pales in comparison. But the reincarnation of the Yi family's sword demon shouldn't be afraid, said an elder of the Yi family. My brother is not afraid of Princess Longji, said Wang Gang confidently from the Wang family of the north. The brother he was referring to was naturally the young emperor of the Wang family, Wang Ting. At this moment, Princess Longji's jade-like feet touched the void. Her aura was transcendent and unparalleled. Jun Lingsang's defeat pushed Princess Longji's reputation to the peak. Many creatures of the Archean royalty looked at Princess Longji with fanatical worship in their eyes. Especially the creatures of Zulong. Zulong had been suppressed by the Jun family and had been humiliated. Now, Princess Longji had finally turned the tables for Zulong. Since I was born in this era, I will definitely fight for the throne in the celestial region and become an invincible hegemon. Princess Longji spoke. Her voice was vast and mighty, spreading to the heavens and earth. She was like a primordial empress, displaying her might and majesty. The entire Dao-seeking mountain and everyone was stunned by Princess Longji's bold words. Was this the spirit of an ancient freak? Many of the current generation's prodigies looked hopeless. With an ancient freak like this, when would the current generation's prodigies be able to stand out? Would they have to serve her for the rest of their lives? Damn it! Everyone from the Jun family felt extremely aggrieved. Princess Longji's words were not only to strengthen her reputation, but also to attack the rest of the prodigies, including the Jun family. Just as Princess Longji was speaking with passion and boldness, a cold voice suddenly exploded in everyone's ears. Who says they are invincible? Who says they are invincible? Other than me, who dares to call themselves a king? Accompanied by this cold and domineering voice, everyone was shocked to see a giant hand imprinted with countless runes in the sky. Covered the sky and covered the sky, slapping down from the heavens. It was like a judgment from the heavens, wanting to strangle and destroy everything. Everyone was terrified, their hearts trembling. The terrifying giant hand was like the hand of the heavens, slamming down on Princess Longji with a crushing force. Who is it? Princess Longji raised an eyebrow, raising her jade-like hand. Her spiritual energy surged, wanting to resist the heavens' might. However, as soon as they made contact, a terrifying wave of 10 billion caddies of divine energy surged out. Princess Longji's calm expression finally changed completely. Boom! Princess Longji was forced back hundreds of steps. Her blood boiled in her chest, her entire body trembling. The surrounding mountains exploded into countless pieces. Rocks flew everywhere, shaking the ground. This scene caused everyone to gasp in shock. The person had not arrived. With just one move, he had forced Princess Longji back, leaving her in such a pathetic state. This scene was too impactful. No one could regain their senses. Under everyone's fearful gazes, a blurry figure in white stood in the 9 heavens. It was as if a god had stepped into the 9 heavens, looking down on the ants of the mortal world. Chapter 282. That figure was too transcendent, too unparalleled. It was misty and filled with white mist, as if an immortal had descended to the mortal world. Everyone's eyes were focused on that figure, their eyes filled with unprecedented shock. As for some of the Jun family members, they were all excited when they heard that familiar voice. Could it be, that's right, he's back? Many of the young people of the Jun family were so excited that their eyes turned slightly red, their hearts surging. If there was anyone who could suppress Princess Longji, it had to be him. You are. Princess Longji's breasts rose and fell, her heart extremely unsettled. This was normal. Princess Longji had just won and she had only said a few bold words. In the next moment she was pushed back and suffered a loss. If it was anyone else, they would be stupefied, unable to accept this. Haven't you always wanted to fight this son of God? Then I'll fulfill your wish. As the white mist dissipated, a peerlessly tall figure in white appeared in front of everyone's eyes. He was divine, handsome, and his robes fluttered in the wind. It was as if the white-robed divine king had descended to the world again. He was like an immortal who had not fallen into the mortal world. Apart from Jun Xiaoyao, who else could have such a proud demeanor? Son of God, it's the Son of God. Lord Son of God is back. On the June family's side, all the young people of the June family couldn't help but exclaim. Their voices were hoarse from shouting, and they were so excited that they couldn't control themselves. Only God knew how sullen they had been before, being mocked by the Archean royalty, the palace of the fallen gods, and other hostile forces. These young people of the June family were all hot-blooded and had sincere hearts. They couldn't accept the humiliation of the June family. And now, their backbone, the Son of God of the June family, Sequence 0, had finally returned. Young Master! June Zhangjian, June Wanjie, and the others were also excited. There were also June Linglong and June Xuehuang, whose faces were filled with excitement and longing. Even June Daolin, June Xiu, and the others who followed June Lingsong. Seeing June Xiaoyao's arrival, a glimmer of hope appeared in his eyes. June Xiaoyao was the only one who was capable of turning the situation around at the moment. I've finally met Sequence 0. June Wushuang smiled, but at the same time, she was a little surprised. Has June Xiaoyao's reputation in the June family already reached such a level? It's really tender and delicious. June Mulan also smiled. June Wushuang glanced at June Mulan. There's something wrong with you. Haha, my grandson is back. June Zhantian looked up to the sky and laughed. He was relieved. The rest of the elders, whose faces were as black as the bottom of a pot, regained their smiles. Their smiles were like chrysanthemums. Obviously, they were very confident in June Xiaoyao. Xiaoyao. On the Jiang family's side, Jiang Xingyi's heart couldn't help but tremble when she saw the person she hadn't seen for a long time. At this moment, June Xiaoyao's arrogant demeanor was too extraordinary. He exuded an unprecedented charm. The eldest princess, Wu Mingyue, also couldn't help but feel excited when she saw June Xiaoyao's arrival. It's indeed the Son of God of the June family. He's back. This is interesting. The Son of God is back. Who can stop him? Did you notice the energy of the Son of God of the June family? How is that possible? Did I sense it wrong? A reaching heaven state? As June Xiaoyao showed up, the entire Wendao mountain was in an uproar. June Xiaoyao's influence was undeniable. Wherever he went, he was the talk of the town. He was the eye of the storm. Princess Longji's original opponent was June Xiaoyao. However, because June Xiaoyao hadn't returned, June Lingsong had taken his place. Now June Xiaoyao had shown up. His energy and strength shocked countless people. He's really in the reaching heaven state. How is that possible? Yeah, it hasn't been that long. The Son of God of the June family was only in the perfect consolidation stage, wasn't he? The Son of God of the June family has broken through 3 stages in such a short time. Oh my God! Even those from the older generation were speechless, let alone the young heaven's favorites. The speed of his breakthroughs was terrifying. June Xiaoyao. Seeing June Xiaoyao show up, Xiao Chen's eyes instantly turned bloodshot. However, the aura emanating from June Xiaoyao at that moment made even his soul tremble. There was an unimaginable gap between him and June Xiaoyao. June Xiaoyao probably didn't even need to lift a finger to kill him. In the distance, another group of people arrived. It was Jiang Luoli, Yu, and a group of people. After they returned to the Huangtian mystic realm with June Xiaoyao, they immediately learned about the battle between June Lingsong and Princess Longji. Therefore, they also used the teleportation portal in the ancient path state without stopping, all the way to the Tao-seeking mountain. At this moment, the arrival of the main character, June Xiaoyao, undoubtedly pushed the battle to the climax. After all, Princess Longji's target from the beginning was June Xiaoyao. June Xiaoyao glanced at the injured June Lingsong and said, "Thank you, cousin. You little brat." June Lingsong shook his head with a smile, but there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. He could feel that June Xiaoyao's level had surpassed his. What a monster! I finally understand Ajio's choice. June Lingsong sighed inwardly. He wondered if it was time for him to let go of this obsession. On the other hand, Princess Longji's expression turned cold as she watched Jun Lingsong talk to Jun Xiaoyao, who didn't seem to care about her at all. The son of God of the Jun family knows how to sneak up on someone? Princess Longji's words were sharp. It was only then that Jun Xiaoyao turned his attention to Princess Longji. His face was still cold and indifferent. You're just a female loach. How dare you talk about dominating the Emperor's road? Who gave you the confidence? Who gave you the right? Jun Xiaoyao's words silenced the entire Dao-seeking mountain. Everyone's expression seemed to have frozen. Princess Longji's words were a little sharp. Jun Xiaoyao's words were blatant disdain. I didn't hear wrong, did I? A female loach? Is that how you describe Princess Longji? One of the heaven's favorites stuttered, unable to react. I think so. After regaining their senses, everyone was a little dumbfounded and a little stunned. Princess Longji was unparalleled in her generation, noble and beautiful. Even the human cultivators were mesmerized by Princess Longji's beauty. But now Jun Xiaoyao had compared Princess Longji to a female loach. This was shocking. The people of the Zulong Mountain all flushed red with anger. What did you say? Even Princess Longji herself couldn't believe her ears. She was unparalleled in her generation, her charm unparalleled. Since ancient times, countless paragons had prostrated themselves before her. They couldn't even kneel and lick her feet. But now she was being humiliated and looked down upon like this. Boom! Princess Longji's spiritual energy exploded, her heart unable to calm down. She couldn't help but want to make a move and teach this son of God a lesson. At that moment, a handsome young man with pale skin and dressed in a black and gold robe stepped out and cupped his hands slightly at Jun Xiaoyao. Master, it's rare for Wang Chuan to meet an ancient freak. I'm excited to see her. May I make a move first? The person who stepped out was Wang Chuan. Sure. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. He didn't think much of Princess Longji anyway. Many people were suspicious when they saw the young man who had suddenly walked out. What was going on? Was Jun Xiaoyao so afraid of Princess Longji that he sent his men to their deaths? Who is he? What kind of background does Jun Xiaoyao's subordinate have? How dare he attack Princess Longji without knowing his place? Just then, an elder from a powerful force studied Wang Chuan, his eyes widening. Could he be that person? Yes, elder, do you know who he is?